Hello everybody. Happy Friday or Saturday or Thursday, whatever day it is that you're tuning in from. How's everybody doing tonight? Guess we'll this is kind of a groovy tune. Guess we'll start off. I do want to mention we've been talking about this Dear Hollywood series that's come out by former child star Alyson Stoner. The third episode is now out, and it was fire. So I definitely recommend that to you guys. Before we jump into this, make sure you check that out. Here, one sec. I'll drop a link in the chat, and there's links in the description below if you guys wanted to check that out too, among other links and whatever other things. All the things. All of the things are there. What's up, Camille? What's going on, David? Welcome. Twiley's here. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? Let's get us some other tunage going here. Okay, get this lined up. Yeah, we're back. We're trying to do some of these little kind of, side quest streams here. A little different from what we usually do, but kind of seems like it is due. This Amanda Bynes appreciation, and we're going to watch some of her old interviews and try to recapture the light that she was, before they took her shine. And remember who she was before all of that, because I think at this point she's got this stereotype is stuck in everybody's mind about who she is at this point. But I think she can find her spark again and get back to her best self, and that's all we can hope for her. But welcome everybody. We'll give you another moment or two here to get in and get settled, get your snacks and beverages ready, whatever you're gonna need. Okay, so I've got basically like interviews through the years from, very early on when she was really little and doing her little stand-up stuff and kind of just being a funny kid. Got a couple of those, couple little interviews of that. We got a couple of her commercials when she was younger, but then mostly it's after the Amanda Show, different interviews and when she first started doing films. Between that, like 1999 to 2003 was like a really good powerhouse time for her where she seemed to be doing great. Things seemed to be going well for her. But then, of course, we know what came after. So trying to recapture the Amanda that she was before they dulled her shine, like I said. Welcome, Amanda Saley. Journey's been a heartbreaking one to witness. Absolutely, it has been. It most certainly has been. So we're rooting for her to get back to her best self and get back to who she was, like I said. Try to recapture that spark again and get behind something that she really loves. Hopefully the fashion stuff, because it seems like that was something that was really driving her and something that she really was interested in. So hopefully she can, get herself back. She's inpatient now and, seems to be safe and in care and around people that are supporting her and that have her best interest in mind and not enabling her or, influencing her in any negative ways. So let's get on with the show here. Just a little nostalgia to start you off. Little Amanda, and it's kind of funny with the Barbie movie being out in theaters right now, and everybody's talking about that right now. So it's funny that one of her early commercials was that. Hey, Siobhan's here. What's going on? Working but listening. That's awesome. No problem. We're glad to have you here.
They're poppable and handy, for munching they're just dandy. The crunchy chocolate candy, new Nestle Bunch of Crunch. So get your hands on some new Nestle Bunch of Crunch.
I'll sit up.
Stand up. Okay. Oop.
I want to go in the game, Coach. Just give me a chance.
Okay.
And I got one more.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta see. This one's just for me. Let's see De Niro.
Are you talking on me? You talking on me? You, me, talking.
That one for me, Lucy.
Ricky, I want to be in your show.
You are pretty incredible.
She's such a real little character, though, right out of the gate. So it's so, you know, with everything we know now, it's so sad to see that she kind of came into it. It's like she didn't really know what she was getting into, but she was so willing to just, you know, do her little skits or improvisations for whatever the adults were, you know, whatever impressed the adults, whatever, you know, brought them joy and happiness.
Thank you.
You having a good time on all that?
Yes, it's very fun because everybody's very nice and very funny.
Well, that's
You're
good.
always laughing.
And thank you so much for entertaining our children because it gives us a little free time.
Sure.
This lady has so much heart. This lady has more heart than Jordan and Johnson put together.
Okay, and then this is one of her first little stand-up bits, and she's like a little kid here. So I mean, whether or not that was age appropriate to start her off here, I guess, you know, it turned out the way it did, but you got to remember these comedy clubs right off the bat, you know, to be bringing a kid to this kind of atmosphere and being like, yeah, okay, let's put it on. It's all fun and games, you know, but this is kind of where it all starts, that, you know, if adults are, if somebody's parents are willing to bring them to these comedy shows, these you know, these late night comedy clubs or whatever, that's basically, you've got a lot of adults there that are drinking and carrying on and having a great time, and that's not exactly a place for a kid, you know? So, and then we've, yeah, anyways.
When she steps on the stage, you know, there's...
I was going to say, and then we've got Arsenio Hall here, which is kind of funny. It's a little bit of a nostalgia aspect there as well, because of course he ended up having his own show too, but different. It was a different show. It was more of an adult show as well, but he's there as the MC for one of her first bits at the Laugh Factory here. Let me catch up with you guys. In mid-30s, grew up watching her on Nick, love all her movies, hope that her getting out of the conservatorship would help. At this point, I hope she finds peace and happiness. Absolutely. I think it can be so easy to lose track along the way and, you know, get distracted or get tempted and led in the wrong directions, you know, and that's when it is time to you know, to reflect and, you know, have that time of introspection. And I think she's taken that time now, which I really do hope that she's really getting down to the nitty-gritty of it, because obviously there is more, you know, as we've spoken before on other streams and just in the past in videos, whatever. There's definitely a lot more to dealing with your stuff than just simply getting sober. You know, you can be, you know, on medications and sober and not doing whatever it is, street things, street drugs, and be drinking, but then you could still be facing a lot of issues, a lot of internal struggles that never really get addressed in some cases, you know. So I hope that she's taking more time to herself and not trying to just jump in with both feet into adulthood there, because she kind of was jumping in, trying to play house and trying to just do what she needed to do to be the adult she wanted to be. But then obviously being with another person trying to stay sober and try to do their own self-work and their own recovery journey, it didn't pan out as the way that either of them hoped, obviously. So hopefully now she's going to take that time and then have that support system when she gets out that is a good, healthy support system for her, that's not going to be triggers for her or, you know, a bad influence in any way.
There's a lot of future there. Please welcome, really? That's even more amazing. 10-year-old Amanda Bynes.
Well, and these are like, okay, so this is it too, is some of this material is all written by the dad for the most part, and he's coached her through a lot of this. I believe it comes up in one of the interviews I've included in here anyways later on, so I'll let her explain it. But yeah, so this some of these jokes is because the dad's a dentist though, and so he makes jokes like about the candy bars and whatever, like rotting her teeth and all this stuff. So that's kind of what her material was when she was young, but there was definitely coaching, so she was naturally hilarious and she had the spark for it. But definitely there was a lot of encouragement on the parents' part and the father's part. He had sent a bunch of jokes into like Leno or whatever it was at one point, and they got rejected, and there was one that ended up getting used and he was super thrilled about that. So it was kind of in another way, this is similar to with Jim Carrey, where the dad sort of ended up living vicariously through their child, where it was a dream that they had that didn't really pan out for them. They got that regular safe job, you know, did what they felt was right and expected by society, and, you know, did the family, did everything right. But he had a dream of being kind of a comedian, I guess, right? So he had been coaching her on her stuff, and, you know, getting into his older age, and the other kids had moved out, and so then it kind of became this thing where, and of course you want the approval of your parents, you want the approval of the adults around you, and telling jokes and being funny is a great way to get that positive attention and get the positive validation and approval, right? So especially, you know, in a house where your parents are getting older, and this is kind of, you've become the project, you know, she sort of threw herself into it. And I not to say that she didn't enjoy doing this as well, and didn't enjoy getting the laughs and impressing, you know, the adults around her, and at functions. I'm sure she was a hoot at parties, at other parties, you know, in adult reunion functions, family reunions and whatever, you know. The parents would bring her along, and everybody would have a nice time, right? So not to say that it's all a negative thing, but there is more to it, obviously. Like, she's not writing these jokes herself, I guess is what I want to say. That when you're this young and going into performing, there is a lot of coaching and involvement from the parents. It's not just that they get up one day and decide they're gonna write stand-up skits, you know what I mean? Anyways, continuing on here.
My parents are always bugging me to slow down. Take it easy. Take a breather. Hang loose. Chill out. Take a break. Heck, why would I want to take a break at home? That's what I go to school for. Speaking of school, I'm really mad. I got my report card. I'm not sure what I got. Instead of a grade, my teacher wrote, "Daughter of the devil." Is that good? In the comments section, she wrote to my parents, "Have you ever considered giving Amanda up for adoption? Or a one-way ticket anywhere? I'll pay for it."
Oh yeah, the New York stuff. That's definitely, you know, when she kind of got out on her own. And you got to remember too, a lot of these actresses, like actors and actresses, they don't, like, when they're young and growing up in the industry, they have a lot of people doing everything for them, like getting them their outfits, setting them up with their, you know, whatever, getting hair done, makeup, whatever, all this stuff, and telling them where to go and when to do it and how to do it and whatever. And a lot of them don't really have, you know, the know-how of how to take care of themselves when it comes to being an adult on their own. Which is actually why, again, that I was mentioning the Dear Hollywood series that Alyson Stoner was doing, and she was a child actress all around this same time. And she goes into all of that, like how much all of that has an effect, and how when you do get on your own, there's a struggle to get your stuff going and to figure out how to manage a day to day without, if you're not on a set, if you don't have a job to do, if you're not going to an event or whatever. And even she made it out the other side. Like, she's doing just fine. Seems like everything's together for her. She didn't have a total meltdown. Everything was like ideal circumstances as far as she goes. to an extent. She goes into some of the trouble she had, obviously, along the way, too. But even in the most ideal circumstances, they have a struggle coming into adulthood. So, of course, with, you know, Amanda getting to New York and getting the access to her money, there wasn't enough of a support system to help guide her that wasn't going to be what it was, you know what I mean? Like, after the conservatorship, they kind of just threw her out to sea rather than having a trust advisor and these different people lined up for her. And Alyson Soder goes to that too, is how are you supposed to know how to handle your financials when you can't even handle your day-to-day, you know?
And if that's not bad enough, the other day, I got a pimple. I'm not even a teenager yet, and I got a pimple. And that's not even the bad part. The bad part is I got it inside my nose. I mean, how do you pop a pimple inside your nose? I mean, what's the deal? Is God sitting up there in heaven looking down at me and saying, Amanda's had it pretty easy. I think I'll give her a challenge.
Oh yeah, and hey Jackie, by the way, welcome new folks rolling in, and all the lurkers. No problem, Camille, you're just gonna be lurking, that's all good.
A pimple that she can't pop. Ha 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 ha
Well, Milton, it's interviews and discussion, so if you don't want to be part of the discussion, then you can see your way out, my friend.
Here, I drew you a picture.
You drew this?
Yeah. Oh.
Wow.
Uh-oh, the tape thing is not.
Oh, the thing. Well, this is not holding it, but this is great. You actually drew this yourself?
Yeah, I got a picture off the internet. There's a lot of stuff about you on there, you know.
There is?
Yeah. No, it's good. You
It's
know,
all
it's
good
not
stuff.
like bad stuff.
No, it wouldn't be bad
risque.
stuff about me, but that's great. Well, that's very nice. I'm going to keep this.
Thank you.
I
Okay,
will.
cool.
Thank you so much. I didn't know that you were an artist. I know that you're an actress. I didn't know that. Do you pursue this?
Well, this is it too. So this is where you can see the great divide, and why I was mentioning about the father earlier, kind of coaching her into doing the stand-up stuff. And obviously that was working out great for her, and it was, you know, she was getting the recognition, she's getting on these talk shows. Everything's great, but right away she's trying to show that, like, well, I like to draw and I want to do these other things, you know, but most people didn't even know she was into anything else, and she was being put onto a path that was selected for her.
Well, I want to be in like a fashion designer. I love to draw like girls. I don't really draw guys. So, you know, I did something special for you.
Wow.
It's hard. You know, I was going to put you like in a little tutu or something, but you know.
Really?
No, I wasn't going to.
Oh, it's okay, Jackie. Sometimes some of the new comments don't come in right away, or it jumps up a bit, and then I have to like refresh the side thing and put it back to live chat or whatever. I don't know. It's a little tricky here and there. It's not your fault. No worries. I see you there. All good in the hood.
Is that what the picture on the internet had?
No.
Oh. Wow, I didn't know there was a camera there.
Yeah.
And thank you, Matt Bryant. Welcome. Yeah, if you guys haven't already, make sure to like the video to support the stream here.
When that was happening. No.
Yeah, it
now
was all
you draw women, you draw fashion.
Yeah, I like brought you a few pictures like
Oh, you did?
show.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is like a girl. I don't know if you want to like.
Can you see this? Can David's camera see this? Oh wow! And over.
And then I
wow.
drew this Sally Field.
That's Sally Field. Wow. So these
And
are.
I have like a few more.
Is this what you want to pursue? You want to actually design clothes?
Yeah, well, I think so. That'd be cool. You know, like Amanda Laura Ware or something. That's my middle name.
That would.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be Amanda Laura Ware.
ABCA. You know, Donna Karen, New York. Amanda Bynes, California. That'd be cool.
Wow.
I
You
don't
really
know.
thought this out.
Oh, and Leanne's here too. What's up? Welcome, Leanne. Yeah, and Coco's here. Yeah, for whatever reason, sometimes the chat's a little, I don't know, whatever. It's a little behind or whatever it is. But yeah, exactly. We all struggle coming in adulthood, and we just don't have the paps and the cameras 24/7 following us. That's it too, right? Like, it was a really different time before they started enacting more laws and protection for celebrities, like with Britney Spears and everything. Like, a lot of what Britney Spears was going through is because she was like had no second to herself in public. She couldn't go anywhere, so she started acting out and being kind of wild. But I mean, who wouldn't in that situation? Just with the paparazzi stuff. Like, forget everything else that they are going through. But yeah, exactly. Like, she definitely had such a fire for the fashion stuff, and there's no reason she couldn't have also been looking into that while doing the performing. But, you know, again, like I said, she was so put into in the way of where they wanted her to go. You know, she was kind of kept in line with the career that they foresaw for her. Like, okay, well, but you got one going here. Why would you even worry about doing fashion when you already have this whole career right here?
Yeah, I've thought.
Now
Pretty sad.
No, it's not. It's great to have a dream. You're really getting all your dreams. I mean, how old are you?
I'm 12, turning 13, April 3rd. Yay!
Yay!
Teenager!
You can't drive yet.
No, well, yes.
The poor kid, so excited to go into being a teenager and had no clue what was coming for her yet. Poor, bless her little soul, man. Nana's doing well. She's just tired, mouth dry. Oh, no. Oh, geez. Well, hopefully she's feeling better real soon. Yeah, and then we got Howie Mandel. So it's definitely, yeah, we got a little bit of a nostalgia along the way, you know, around Amanda here. So it's kind of a nice little trip down memory lane. Sad when you literally have to cover your face from people. They take it way too far. Yeah, for sure. Like, and for you guys, if any of you guys haven't seen yet, the Amanda Bynes is not crazy video that I did. Yeah, like the beginning of that is a taste of the paparazzi stuff she's dealing with. And literally, she was having to cover her face and cover her head and try to just hide. And then she was getting into like car complications, bumping into cars and stuff, trying to like hide herself, but while trying to get out when they got like she's surrounded by people. Like, that's got to be. Yeah, totally, like, that's trauma right there. That's like, you know, your adrenaline would be pumping, you'd be panicking in ways, I'm sure.
Yes, I can. No, just joking.
No, you don't drive.
In 3
you
years.
drive?
Oh, no.
No.
I'd like to, though.
You would?
My sister does, you know. I'm, like, closing my eyes, you know.
How old is your sister?
She's 16.
So does she have her license?
Yeah.
And she drives you
No,
around?
she doesn't have her license.
She just drives?
Not yet. No, she has her permit.
She has a permit?
Yeah.
So there has to be an adult
Yeah.
in the car?
Oh, yeah, and even if she had a license, probably for 18 more years, my dad would have to drive with her.
Really? Does she date yet?
No. She, you know, there's, you know, she likes guys, but my dad says she can't date till she's 35.
I like your dad.
Oh, you know, you
Yeah,
probably get along.
I would get along.
Yeah.
I have a 14-year-old. Now, yeah, I do.
What are you gonna let her date?
I'm just gonna have your dad come live with us.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So she'll like me, and he's the one with all the rules.
Oh, right. Oh, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, he'll do that.
Yeah, my mom's the good guy in the family. Well, the good girl, whatever. But, you know, my mom would let her, I think my mom would let her date. Well, I don't know if she would let her, but it's kind of nice that my dad says no. So your dad says no.
Do you want to date yet? Do you have a boyfriend?
No, I don't. I go, well, when I'm going to real school, I go to an all-girls school, so it's kind of hard to have a boyfriend.
Right.
But I do like boys that are like in movies. Like, I like Ryan Felipe, even though he has.
Ryan
he's like Ryan Felipe.
Ryan Felipe.
He was in 54. He was in
Whoa, who doesn't know Ryan Felipe?
Yeah, who doesn't? Do anybody know? He's really cute. But you know, he's like getting married to Reese Witherspoon, so you don't have to meet him before they get married.
Right.
You know, break them apart. Not yet.
Now you started out the same way I did. I understand that you started out at like the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
Are you a stand-up comedian?
Yeah. Well, my dad saw like an article that, you know, kids could do a comedy camp at the Laugh Factory.
Right.
So it was like for 6 weeks or something. You know, like Arsenio Hall came on and he would like critique your act.
Right.
And Richard Pryor came on.
Wow.
So that was really cool. He was so neat. It was so cool. I was like, wow, it was so neat to meet him, you know. And then a few other people came on.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and it'd be easy to be swayed too, like, even if the fashion thing is what she really had her heart set on, you know, once you start getting into, like, yeah, meeting these famous people and getting into these other parties and start, you know, getting dissuaded by all these different options and different, you know, exciting things happening, then it's easy to get distracted as well, because obviously at certain points in time it was 100% her own choice. She did have free will, of course, but...
And oh yeah, this chair is kind of.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. And so it was really cool. And then there was like a graduation night, and that's where the producers of the show, like Brian Robbins and Dan Schneider, came on the show, and they saw me there. So
And that was it? You just got discovered right off of the comedy camp?
Yeah. So that was
your dad
cool.
in show business? You say he knows that?
No, well, he likes to do comedy, and so, you know, I've always liked doing comedy, so, you know, he would...
What does he do for a living?
He's a dentist.
Oh, and
so he
and
makes
who doesn't
people
love
laugh.
a funny dentist?
Yeah. Well, my dad, you know, he makes everybody laugh, so that's cool. So they don't like mind going to the dentist.
Yeah,
as
I'm gonna
much.
go to a commercial. You want to keep talking? You can keep talking.
Okay.
The best audience is one that's strapped to a chair and you got sharp instruments in your mouth. That's definitely the time you want to get comedy thrown at you. I mean, for sure, to have it kind of light and funny is the way to go, but they can't go anywhere, you know, and they're gonna be polite. Fuck. Yeah, right on, man. That's awesome. Almost all the videos. That's great, dude. Thank you. Glad to hear that. I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I'm glad to have you here, man.
I'll be back. I want to talk to you more.
Okay.
Amanda Bynes. I'll be back with more of Amanda after this. It's the best whole movie I've ever been part of.
Oh, Jamie's here. What's going on, Jamie? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. How you feeling? Still have shaved my head moments, and I'm not famous, so I can't even imagine. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we all got moments we want to not have to be ourselves, right? You know, we've all got our own stuff going on, but yeah, like really having to go that far of the way to kind of hide yourself and to run away from all that craziness, it's a whole new layer.
It's great. No, he's just, it's for safety reasons, in case we forget to put a tape in.
Right, okay,
Yeah,
my
so
dad.
you've got it all covered.
He's very skilled.
Now, I understand that you do. You know what? You'll never have to drink coffee. You know that.
Yeah, I don't.
I know.
I drink enough Coca-Cola. I love Coke.
Really?
Yeah.
You've got that caffeine
They made
kind
like
of
a little,
feel.
Exactly. They made a rule for me that I can't have Coke after 3 o'clock, you know, like the cast members.
I can see why. But you're adorable.
Thank you.
You're adorable.
Like,
Now, you do.
But then also, you know, the Dan Schneider stuff, like she was discovered by Dan Schneider in one of these clubs, you know, so if you, as, you know, it's one of those crossroads paths, like, you know, her comedy career could have gone a whole different way. Like, she was in the clubs, doing her bit, doing her thing, and of all the people that could have discovered her, you know, like, you can imagine how much different her life could have been if certain people hadn't crossed her path there. So I don't know if you guys noticed there a moment ago, she was mentioning that it was Dan Schneider and Brian Robinson or whatever his name is, his friend, that discovered her, and she's so excited about it, and everything about it's so fresh and new and exciting, and it's like, holy crap, she is just a ball of energy. But of course, yeah, they're giving her sugar and stuff too, so that doesn't help, but
Yeah, now I understand you do a little impression. You have an impression?
Well, I do Barbara Walters. I'll do like a little thing for her.
Yeah, because we got to...
Okay. Hello, I'm Barbara Walters, and this is 2020 Friday. Do you ever wonder, when you go to a fancy restaurant and they vow you park your car, do they take your stuff or touch your radio? It's an amazing story you won't want to miss.
Wow! I'll be right back with more right after this. Stay right where you are.
like, she definitely had the talent, though, and her little impressions and impersonations and stuff, like, that was the funniest stuff. I think the adults, they loved that the most, you know. But so she still could have done the career. She still could have had the same kind of, you know, the pathway in such a way. But I don't know. It's hard to say too, because things are, you know, it's all just allegedly and a matter of opinion and so on and so forth, speculation. But you know, she did have the spark. She did have the natural talent for it, and you know, it seemed like, you know, might have gone that way one way or the other. But had it gone a different way, you know. Respect, appreciate. This is live, and not pre-recorded like a lot of other channels. Cheers from Sweden. Right on. Tidoshram. I hope I'm saying that right, buddy. Welcome to Sweden. To Sweden from Canada. Glad to have you. Oh boy, you definitely had want to shave my head moments. Yeah, Jamie. See, you guys, lots of people could relate to that, right? But you know, you're not pushed to the complete over the edge because you're able to leave the house and not be swarmed by people and all this craziness going on.
Man, get after this. Stay right where you are. Man, you people here, you people at home, see you tomorrow. Bye.
Hello to South Africa. Moisey Talbert. Moisey Talbert. Welcome, buddy. Welcome, everybody. To all the lurkers and the new folks joining us. Feel free to join in on the discussion here. We don't bite. How we doing? Hanging in there. Just woke up having a migraine. Oh, man. You gotta drink some water or get some juice in ya. But yeah, I've been good. Things are good. Cannot complain. Thank you for asking. Freaking Dan. Yeah. Well, this is it. I think now that there's so many of these other young former stars coming out now, speaking out with like Jeanette McCurdy, Alexa Nicholas, with, yeah, like I was mentioning too, the Alyson Stoner's Dear Hollywood podcast that she's doing. You know, a lot of people, Christy Carlson Romano's got the podcast, Mayim Bialik has got the podcast, and they've all been touching on, you know, and speaking with former child stars about the problems they all went through and starting to figure it out together in a way of, you know, all the different things they went through and not from a place of rivalry and competition in the way that they were kind of pitted against each other, but in a way of healing and being able to relate and try to understand, like, what was normal, what wasn't normal. Like, you know, I'm not alone. You know, I think for a lot of them is they don't want to, they realize they're not alone anymore, right? So I'm really hoping that Amanda in her healing journey right now that she's got herself back into treatment and she's looking at her past and her childhood stuff, that she's able to get in touch with this other group here they're all kind of in touch with each other behind the scenes and working on getting the message out there and bringing more awareness and being more supportive for each other. So I really hope that she can get into that fold and be included in that, and then, yeah, have the strength and the power of voice to tell her own story. Because I think really it's just that, you know, she's been kind of stuffed in a box for so long, and, you know, being the time before, you got to realize too, like, some of these child actresses and actors coming out now, like Jeanette McCurdy and so on, this was like when cell phones and stuff started being more popular, so them getting away with stuff wasn't going to happen the same as it would have with Amanda. So we're hearing the stuff that they went through and how bad that was, but you only got to imagine how much more things may have happened behind the scenes, speculation allegedly, of course, when there wouldn't be so many eyes and ears on the set, you know what I mean, with having so many people that could capture evidence or document things, you know? So there probably is a good reason that she's, you know, that much more stuck in where she is than with some of these other child actresses that have been able to come forward and to speak up and, you know, have made it out the other side a little more unscathed. So I really, really hope that they can kind of rally around her and be like a buffer and just fucking, they need to support each other, man. They all need each other. But anyways, so this next little bit is her first and last moments on the All That show. So that was the show she first got brought onto by Dan Schneider when she was discovered at the comedy clubs. She was brought onto this show called All That was already going. And so this is her first and last, and then that was before she went into having the Amanda show, which was her own show. You're on your lunch break? Right on, Siobhan. Good timing. You're coming in at a good time, a good part of the discussion here. Jen McCurdy set a bar high for speaking out, and she is an amazing person. Absolutely, Amanda, that's for sure. Well, and you got to remember, too, which, of course, Jeanette had mentioned in her memoir there, that she'd been offered $300,000 by Nickelodeon to not speak out about her experiences, right? So you got to think how many people were not in a position to turn down that money, you know, coming from a child actor, trying to come into an adult actor persona, and to make that transition is really difficult. So for a lot of them, they wouldn't have been in a financial situation to be able to turn that money down. So there's only going to be so many of them that are able to speak out as well and aren't bound by some kind of contract, which we got to consider that too, that Amanda might be bound by some kind of NDA or something we're not aware of, which Alyson Stoner, again, goes into all of that, which this is why I keep pushing that on you guys so fiercely, because she goes into, it's done so well, it's put together really well, she explains it really well so the average person can understand all of these additional layers beneath the surface that none of us could ever even consider, let alone to understand, you know. And it's all the power of information, you know, the power of knowledge and the awareness and exposure is how we're going to be able to press to have reform and to have real big change for future child actresses or just children in general, you know. The way that these things are handled, the way that complex trauma is handled, the way that, you know, people are able to better recognize the symptoms of different things that might be happening to a kid without there being any actual physical evidence, you know. You got to be able to be aware of these things to be able to prevent and be more proactive rather than being reactive once a child's actually harmed. You know, this is the thing we've been missing for decades now, that we really got to get with it and start doing something about it, because the time's up, you know?
Guys, listen up. Has anybody met Amanda yet?
You mean Amanda, our new cast member?
I'm afraid so.
Wait a second, what's wrong with Amanda?
Well, let's just say she's way too happy and perky.
Oh, I hate happy and perky.
Hi, everyone. It's me, Amanda.
Well, what's up?
I just want to tell y'all how happy and perky I am to be joining the cast of all that. We're all going to have such fun.
Oh, I'm sure we are.
Okay, now everybody gather around.
Oh, come on, go.
Well, and it's kind of strange, her first skit is basically them being like cold shoulder. I kind of want to point this out, because you gotta remember, Dan's written all these skits, and he's the creator of this show, and he's like the mind behind everything, right? So why is the first skit her being like given this cold shoulder by the older kids? You know, you almost gotta wonder what kind of message he was trying to send her right away. And obviously it's only acting, it's for pretend, but you know, bringing that as a tense introduction for her, it's almost like I don't know how to put my finger on it, but you guys kind of know what I'm trying to say with that. I think you guys do. You guys are smart. You know, you're usually on the same page with me on stuff. You watch SNL every weekend because of all that as a kid. Yeah, well, some of these shows, it was like SNL for kids, right? Even like the Amanda Show to an extent. You know, it was Mad TV and SNL for kids, which, you know, why not? Like, it's not a terrible idea, but, you know, when you give that kind of power and title of running these shows to the wrong hands, you know, the idea of it on its own isn't terrible, you know, and yeah, there's going to be child actors, there's going to be kids out there doing whatever they're going to do, they want to be performers, there's lots of kids that love to sing, they love to dance, they love all these things, you know, so it's such a delicate balance to be able to let them shine without, you know, a viper coming in and being the one to come try and dull it versus just the everyday life stuff, right? Because there's always going to be ups and downs no matter how you cut it. Nobody has no perfect life, of course, but...
Look, Amanda, nothing personal, but we don't like to gather.
No. Yeah.
Oh, Lori Beth, you are so funny.
Don't you forget it.
Come on, you guys have something for all of you. Now for the boys, I made you all a bunch of oatmeal and raisin cookies.
Oh, cookies!
And for the girls, stuffed animals. Lori Beth, I got you a bear, and for Alyson, a tiger. And for Katrina, a pretty pink bunny.
And then also, like, for people at home watching, what message are you sending that, oh, okay, if a group of people doesn't like you, then you gotta bring them all this stuff, and then everybody will accept you and everything will be fine. Or you have to have something to offer them. And then what do you offer the executives and producers that they don't have already, you know? So it's almost like creating I don't know. Like, there's something weird there. I feel like there's something weird there, and I can't necessarily, you know. Oh, Hunter McCade's here. Hey, buddy. Felt like Ariana Grande could have been the one to fully expose. Oh, for sure. But, you know, that one's a tricky one, because I feel like she's kind of been warped and twisted in such a way that, you know, she might, she's one of them almost at this point. Not that she's one of them doing bad things to kids or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, she's very plugged into the whole industry, into the system. Like, there's a lot more going on, and a lot as far as her management team versus, say, Amanda. You know what I mean? But Hunter, since you're here, man, I'm sure you can speak on it a little bit of the type of programming that young actors have put on them when put into situations and acting out certain scenes, that although it's pretend and although it's all make-believe and stuff, the message that they're being sent and that's being sent to the viewer can kind of be manipulated to an extent within that scene, you know? So, and again, touching back on how all the latchkey kids, you know, we kind of had that discussion the other night. The latchkey kids were sort of, you know, this is the content we were given, and what kind of message were we being sent, you know, with certain programming. Different shows, different TV specials.
Isn't he just too cute? Way too cute.
5 minutes. Show starts in 5 minutes. Oh, I see you've all met our new cast member, Amanda. Isn't she all happy and perky? I just know she's gonna fit right in. Oh, a bunny.
Amanda gave it to me. I got a tiger.
Bear.
Cookies. What wonderful gifts, you know. I enjoy gifts.
Oh, Kevin, you didn't think I'd forget you, did you?
You got me a present?
Of course.
Give it.
I
can't take too much more of her.
She makes me queasy.
Even her cookies are too sweet.
You just don't like her because she's all sweet and kindly. You know, you could all learn a thing or two from Amanda. That's what I say.
And this is for Kevin.
A chair.
A very special chair for a very special stage manager.
Oh, it's so comfy. My rear feels all happy. And you know,
I'm not sure how I feel about that whole sequence there, but I don't think I really need to say much about that. Oh my lord. Hey, Chris Sean's here too. What's going on, buddy? Running around town lurking, but want to chime in and say, hey, oh, awesome, buddy. No worries. Glad to have you, and we can join you on your running your errands, or whatever it is you're doing out and about. Thanks for joining and saying hi.
I do need to relax now and then, you know. What's this red button right here?
Gee, I don't know. Why don't you push it?
Alrighty.
Adios, sucker.
You launched Kevin right through the roof.
And definitely, because touching on with the all that situation, I did want to kind of mention it and pick it apart a little more too, because it seems like that's the sort of thing that was kind of triggering her along the way. Like one of her first meltdowns there a few years ago now, the first round of meltdowns, they were having the all that reunion, and she wasn't invited. She wasn't even told about it or asked if she wanted to be part of it or anything like that. She had to find out about it seeing it online. So that kind of set her off a bit to an extent. So there was definitely something with the all that stuff, that something happened here in this atmosphere too. You got to think, like, her being this little kid versus being around all these older kids too, and then being the comparing and the competition and so on and so forth. It's just like, it seems like a very unhealthy dynamic right off the hop.
You did that on purpose, didn't you?
Amanda, I just have one thing to say. Welcome to the cast. Hey, come on, Daddy. Come on, Papa Daddy. Come on, all of you. Well, hello there. You must be my new student. Truly well with it.
Precisely. And you must be Principal Pimple.
As if to illustrate my point, like, of course they're all kids, right? But there's an age difference enough that we've got some of the kids can play the teacher or principal or whatever, and then the other kid is like 10, you know? So it's like right away the whole thing is just, I don't know, something weird about just the whole dynamic. Like, there's no way that can be healthy at all for a young kid. Yeah, it's a whole nother universe. Yeah, no place for kids. For sure, because I think there's so many things, too, that even parents with the best intentions are not able to foresee or not able to understand or grasp, you know? So it's a recipe for disaster.
Pimpel. My name is Principal William Bynes Pimpel. Now, Shooty, I would like to welcome you to Del Mar Junior High School's Gifted Student Program for extremely intelligent students. Even though I am the school's principal, Principal William Bynes Pimpel, I teach the gift.
Well, I mean, there was latchkey kids after us. There was different programming at the time, but this, for this generation, this was like more my younger sister's generation of television. But I mean, it was all kind of wrapped in together with whatever else. You had the different. It depended what network you were watching, whether it was like Teletoon, or we had this network called YTV here, which was basically like Nickelodeon. It had all the Nick shows on it, and then we had whatever else. I can't remember all of them anymore. The Family Channel, which was the Disney stuff. So, like, it was all, it might have had a different wrapper and a different bow, but it was all the same kind of stuff that they were sending out, you know what I mean? The same kind of, it was the same package on the inside.
The class, as I enjoy personally cultivating our school's most intelligent minds.
Well, I'm ecstatic to be joining a gifted class taught by someone of your unparalleled caliber.
Unparalleled caliber. Oh, you made my pimple happy. Oh, you are such a precocious yet freakishly adorable little thing.
Hi, everyone. It's time for Ask Ashley.
That's me. Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm here to answer your letters. Our first letter comes from Tracy Sullivan of Yakima, Washington. Tracy writes, Dear Ashley, that's me. Dear Ashley, my mom always makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with the peanut butter on the top and the jelly on the bottom. But I prefer the jelly on the top and the peanut butter on the bottom. What should I do? Well, Tracy, here's a little advice. Turn the stinking sandwich over! The peanut butter's on the top and the jelly's on the... Just turn the stinking sandwich over! Man!
Oof, fuck. So ridiculous, but definitely one that skyrocketed, went on to be the biggest of all, star out of all of them, and the dynamic was set like that for me. Yeah, no, for sure, right? Okay, so I'm picking it up, right? And yeah, that's right, Matt. Like, it is sad to see what the machine can be doing to all of them, and we know that there was an air of competition and comparing one another, you know, because some of these other child stars that have come forward, like from Victorious and whatever, iCarly, all these other stars, they're saying there was a lot of that same dynamic, like, even though there were certain other things maybe that weren't happening the same, that dynamic and then some of the scenes that they were being put into were really not appropriate for kids, and then even for themselves, some of them weren't realizing how bad it was until they were becoming older and becoming, you know, more aware of things going on around them and the different innuendos. And then looking back, like, that's almost like a trauma in your 20s when you're looking back to seeing what you were doing when you were, you know, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And, you know, looking back and when all the pieces start coming together and the puzzle's getting clearer and you're seeing really the reality of it from an adult perspective, man, like, it can only affect you negatively, you know, knowing what we know with these other child stars that have come forward already, you know, and I do hope, like I said, I hope she can get at least the recovery. Whether she ever tells her whole story or not, you know, that's kind of irrelevant. As long as she can get that healing and get herself to the other side the same way as, say, Jeanette McCurdy and Alexa Nicholas and, you know, these other ones who were affected and did have bad experiences, but it seems like they were able to keep their footing into adulthood, right? So hopefully Amanda can do the same. And whatever she ends up doing, if she ends up just doing the fashion thing, I think we'd all be super happy about that as long as she was happy and healthy and had a good mental well-being, you know? I don't care if she ever acts again or ever does a comedy bit again. That doesn't freaking matter, you know?
Our next letter comes from Benjamin Tookus of Shreveport, Louisiana. Ben writes, Dear Ashley, that's me. Dear Ashley, I really like to ride my bike, but when I'm riding, there always comes a time when I want to stop.
Well, and that's it too. You've got all these people that are like, why is one of or two of these other actors or actresses being so favored? Like, what's so special about them that's not special about me? So then they're pushing to be impressive or whatever, but little do they know what's actually happening to them, you know, in ways that is making them the favorites. You know what I mean? So you've got like that, the dynamic, the twistedness of that dynamic alone is like, and then you've got these kids that it's almost like that at that point they're brainwashed to want to be like, okay, well, I want that kind of attention and I want my own show and I want my own thing. So which couch? Pick a couch, any couch, you know, coming into their teens. And then this is where you've got these young girls and just even with the young boys too, like taking certain parts they would never morally want to take, but for the sake of their career, because they want to keep getting work and they want to have that transition into an adult career, they have no choice, you know, like the 80s and 90s were really bad for that too. Like those erotic type films that are like a regular story, everything's normal, but it was like softcore, you know. And yeah, for some of the teens they would have like body doubles or whatever, but when people are watching the film and they're thinking it's this kid doing this scene or doing that situation, whatever the setting is, holy crap, like looking back on most stuff from the 80s and 90s is really questionable. And I'm thinking like, shit, I was watching this stuff as like a 10, 12, 14, whatever year old, you know, some of this stuff when you look back and there's no parents around, then nobody gives a shit what you're watching as long as you're not getting in trouble, right?
Usually I just plow into a parked car or a brick wall, but this is starting to hurt. Any ideas on how to stop my bike? Well, Ben, here's a little advice. Use the stinking brakes! The brakes, Becky! Or here's another idea.
Well, and that's it too, Jackie. Having all this stuff added too, like certain things that were being added to Netflix and being brought up again and becoming popular again, seemed to be a bit of a trigger for her as well. So it just really makes you wonder what different things might have happened behind the scenes at certain movies, certain events, whatever the case may be. You know, like you can only really kind of get, you know, the surface of it with the patterns and stuff that we see on the outside, but only really Amanda knows for sure, and only she can get herself out of the that she's in, you know? Nobody can do it for her, you know, and you can be giving her, sometimes you can be giving somebody all the support and love and care and whatever in the world, and it's doing more harm than help, you know, because sometimes people really need to be able to have that time to look at their stuff and not have that next distraction, next, you know, step in life or whatever, you know. Sometimes people really need that healing time, and I hope that's what she's getting right now.
Next time you want to stop your stinking bike, why not drive it right into Tracy Sullivan from Yakima, Washington? She'll be the chick with the confused look on her face, standing there holding up her stupid peanut butter and jelly sandwich the wrong way. Our next letter comes from Alex Reed in Melbourne, Florida. Alex writes, Dear Ashley, that's me. Dear Ashley, I really like a girl in my class named Sarah. I've asked her out 74 times and she always says no. What's the deal? Well, Alex, here's the deal. Come real close to the TV, Alex. Closer, closer, closer. Sarah don't like you. Here's a plan. Next time you want a date, why not call up Benjamin Tookus and get a ride from him on his runaway bicycle, and then head on over to Yakima and ask out Tracy Sullivan the upside down sandwich.
Like, it's pretty funny, and yeah, for her to be able to memorize the stuff, like, I could see where she ended up, you know, she got her own show out of it. Like, this was just before her, like I was saying earlier, getting the Amanda show. You know, and really, like, there is talent there to be able to memorize the skits, to be able to remember the different things that they're telling her, and, like, with this, she just did, like, the callback kind of thing, which, in comedy, that's great. If you can bring back a joke and bring it back around and tie it in at the end there, it's awesome. She's like, yeah, get over there. You can't figure out how to break your bike, while you and the chick that can't figure out how to eat her sandwich upside down, you know, like, it's funny. Like, she's getting the elements of comedy down pat, like, at such a young age, you know, so, again, you know, she definitely could have had such a, you know, great career in a healthier and a better, more joyful way, you know, and it could have really turned out for her, but, like, yeah, well, you know, the whole thing did it to her. Everybody, the whole industry can really suck the life out of some people, you know, like, look at Marilyn Monroe. Look at, really, like, we could go, the list will go on and on if we start, but through the ages, there's been something really wrong going on in the industry and just in general in the world, in society, that something needs to happen. We all got to start digging into it and analyzing and looking at things more closely and figure out what we can do to do things better and differently and improve in the future, you know?
It's a sure bet she's got nothing to do on the weekend except figure out how to flip her stinking peanut butter sandwich. Well, that's all the advice I have for you today. Bye, everybody.
Well, and then with the feet thing too, like, this is it. There was, like, unless you knew, you didn't really know. Like, that was one of those things. Like, we didn't have access to information the way we do now too, right? Like, there's people and even kids nowadays, they're more street smart and knowing about what's going on in the world and what to look out for now than kids back then, you know? Because just the knowing, right? Like, most people know about the feet thing now. But back in the day, they didn't necessarily know. Like, no wonder they could go around and flaunting around to, you know, pretty much in front of everyone's faces and putting it in kids' heads and, like, warping kids pretty much, like, by proxy for the kids acting and doing the things and then for people watching it, you know? And that all was fine. Nobody thought nothing about that. And that's why, because nobody knew. Nobody really thought much of it. But yeah, looking back now, it's like, what in the freaking heck, right? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's so much for a kid to remember. So it was like, you know, she was primed as far as being able to be a really great little actress, a little comedian, a comic actress. But, and, you know, she could have had her own career, but she just kind of got suffocated and brought into this little bubble, and it imploded. It imploded, and she was at the center of it, the poor kid. When you were a kid, they had a satellite. Someone got hooked on a kid's show that I guess was based in Canada called Today's Special. It's so weird. Also watch Sesame Street in French. I don't think I even ever saw Sesame Street in French. That's funny. I didn't even know that existed. And I didn't even know what Today's Special was, but, like, yeah, I think probably by that time, like, I was already watching, like, whatever crazy movies and stuff. Like, I got right into movies when I was, you know, 8, 9, 10. I was already watching, you know, like, fucking Nightmare on Elm Street and whatever else, Clockwork Orange and like Hellraiser. I feel almost embarrassed now looking back what I was getting away with watching and how like messed up it really was to be allowed to just watch pretty much whatever. Like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest I saw when I was like 11 or something like that, you know. And of course, I'm a kid. I didn't know half the shit that was going on anyway, but it's still just some of the stuff, like, whether it was meant for kids or not, kids were watching wild shit back in the day because it's just, you know, what was around. And if you didn't really have supervision or anybody, you know, keeping an eye on what channel you're watching or what VHSs you're popping in, you're learning some lessons today. Christ. Wow, what a change there. That was the first of the Ask Ashley segments, and then this is the last of the Ask Ashley segments. That's messed up. Like, she definitely spent her entire childhood. She grew up and then was going into teenage years, it seems like, with this. Like, that was her whole childhood, pretty much. At least 2-3 years or whatever. What was it on all that? I think it was at least 2-3 years of time. So, for that whole time, how much was going on, you know? Hey, Chatty Cathy, welcome, welcome.
That's me! Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm here to answer your letters. Our first letter comes from Tyler Ryan of Winnipeg, Ohio. Tyler writes, Dear Ashley, that's me! Dear Ashley, I haven't eaten anything in a really long time, and my stomach seems to always be grumbling. Lately, I've started to feel really weak and really dizzy and really, really hungry. Ashley, what's wrong with me? Well, I'm glad you asked me that question because I think I know exactly what's wrong with you. You're stinking starving! Starving, you malnourished mashed potato head! Do you want to feel not hungry? Then here's an idea. Eat some stinking food! At least if your mouth was full, then I wouldn't have to listen to any more of your stinking stupid questions! Our next letter comes from Max Coppola of Spokane.
Let me catch up with you guys here. It's just had to refresh, and I see I've missed some stuff. She was a bright light at this age. Sad seems so void now, but you said this as I would write this comment. Yeah. I guess, you know, we're all on the same wavelength that way. We're always thinking, all of us kind of here, we kind of get on the same page with some of these topics here and, you know, how we're perceiving these segments and stuff now. Back when my parents were just like, don't jump into a stranger's van. Times have changed. Yeah, now it's order up a stranger on an app to your house and sleep with them. Like, it's kind of messed up. Yeah, we'll have times have changed. Like, it's a freaking weird world we live in now. She said she hated herself in the movie Easy A. Last movie she did. I was like, what? I loved her that. Funny as usual. Yeah, well, you got to think about the skewed perception and, you know, all the things being fed into her mind behind the scenes and all the things going on with her that we would have never been able to know, you know? Yeah, it's really a shame. It's really sad. I loved it at that time. Honestly, thought it was made up in my head because it was so strange. Yeah. Yeah, Canadian television, there was some stuff that it's almost like, yeah, I couldn't really tell if it was, looking back, if it was a dream or if it was real, like, but then you do see it eventually, like the Dust Bunny stuff. There's, you know, like, we had a little segment called Don't You Put It in Your Mouth. Like, funny little songs that are like these public service announcements, the couch hippos, or no, the house hippos or whatever, like, oh man, we had all kinds of whacked out shit. That you know, we're a different breed up here for a reason. It's part of Dear Ashley. I remember the whole audience started saying her name as well. I remember dying laughing. Yeah, I guess even just for the Mana Show portions of it and like the all that portion, some of you guys did watch this as kids, so you're getting that nostalgia from this, for sure. So that's nice. Nostalgia uniting in nostalgia.
Kane, Alaska, Max writes, Dear Ashley, that's me! Dear Ashley, I have a magic box in my living room that lets me look in other people's lives. The box has a large window on the front of it, and whenever I push a button on the magic box, different people appear. My family loves to sit around at night and stare at it, especially between the hours of 8 and 10. Ashley, what is this magical box? I think I may know your magic box is, sweetie. It's a stinking television! A television's ain't you magical freak! I mean, what kind of deranged dunderhead doesn't know what a stinking TV is? The only real magic around here is how your brain managed to magically disappear!
Oh, Rochelle's back. What's going on? How you been? Working hard. I guess, eh? Been busy. Oh, and thank you for that. You rejoined. You did the member thing. Thank you for the remembering to rejoin as a Shiny Bean member. Welcome back.
Our last letter comes from Stephen Faber of Willington, Wisconsin. Stephen writes, Dear Ashley, that's me. Dear Ashley.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, David. There, the whole audience getting in on it.
Why are you so mean to everybody? I mean, you say that you want to hear people's questions, but then you just end up yelling at them and calling them names. What's up with that? Well, that's a very good question. Why am I so mean to everybody? Well, maybe it's because you ask such stinking bubble-headed questions. I mean, Doofus #1 can't remember to eat, which is too bad, because if he could eat, he could go over to Doofus #2's house, stare at his magic box, and the two of them could share a giant plate full of dumb. I'm not gonna expect your last question, Mr. I think you're mean, and blah. Tell you what, I'll stop being so mean as soon as the three of you get in a spaceship and blast yourself up to planet Schmo, because that's obviously where you're stinking from.
I feel like by the end of this, this was like real frustration and anger and just being so sick of that same joke setup like 100 fucking times. I feel like by then she'd be going a little mental for sure. Oh my god. You're too old for these shows. You were a kid in the 80s and teen in the 90s. Yeah, no worries, Chatty Cathy. I mean, yeah, even I was a little too old for some of this, you know, and I only really knew about it because my little sister watched all this kind of stuff. This was sort of the in-between we could agree on was this kind of stuff, this channel. But, yeah, we can all still appreciate the shine when she had it and want for her to get better and want for her to find it again and find her spark and her happiness and make her way out the other side here, whether you remember her or not, whether it was part of your childhood or not. Her childhood was a lot of different childhoods, you know. Her story is not just her own story. There's a lot of people and a lot of kids that have similar stuff that they went through, and they're all trying to get through the other side too. And if we could all raise more awareness and have more sympathy and understanding and empathy in these situations, and not make it out to be such a sensationalized, you know, shock jock type media frenzy when they're starting to have their meltdowns and their breakdowns and stuff, like, 'cause there's obviously a reason, and same for people in, you know, just everyday people. Sometimes people are having their fall from grace for a reason, you know, so to speak. But yeah, as soon as this little segment's done here, we'll take our couple-minute break. I see we're just over the hour here, and I'm due for a refill of coffee, and I'm sure you guys are too. And so we'll finish this one segment, and then before we start the next one, we'll take a couple minutes. So if you guys are holding it and need the facilities or anything like that, just a heads up, we are going to take a break here very shortly.
Well, that's all the advice I have for you today. Bye, everybody.
Hey, YouTube, it's Beyonce from all.
All right, Beyonce from Beyonce. How many Beyonce we need? I think there's only one Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we went too far. I guess we'll leave it right there. That's fine. And then we'll just do this. Bink, bonk, boop. And yeah. It was right there anyway. Perfect timing. Taking a break. Let me catch up with you guys in the chat here quick, and then, yeah. So wherever in a career, but always hope she get better and be happy. Yeah, for sure. For sure, you know, we're all just uniting on that front, you know, rooting for her and hoping that she's getting the help and support she needs now, and this next time around that she's, you know, got her solid ground, her solid footing, and got, you know, more of that childhood stuff healed up and got a little more, you know, has been able to wrap her head around it enough in a way that she's able to go forth into adulthood with more confidence and a lot more security. She's not alone. We're not alone. But it's hard to think like that when you're so down. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but we are here. We are here. And, you know, obviously not that she's probably not going to see this, and it's, you know, not really doing much for her directly. But, you know, hopefully all of us uniting here today and putting that good energy and sending good vibes for her, you know. Hopefully that has some kind of an effect into, you know, the netherverse and the universe or whatever. You know, we're putting it out there. Law of attraction stuff, you know. Good vibes only. But anyways, guys, yeah, so we're going to take a couple moment break here. So if you got to go stretch your legs or, you know, smoke them if you got them, whatever you got to do, grab a snack, and I will be right back. I'm going to pick some happier tunes here, too. This is a little depressing. There we go. Got a smart face. That's a nice title for a song. All right. Smiling smart faces. Shiny beans. BRB. And we're back. Polka dot door. Oh yeah, polka dot shorts. What are you talking about? Is that what you guys are talking about? I think that was a Canadian thing too, wasn't? It's always on your voice though. Makes me smile. Anyway, well, it's stuck. Yeah, true. Yeah, probably said it before. Definitely. Yeah, and for those of you guys that don't really know about Horton Hears a Who and you didn't check it out in between there, basically it's this elephant finds this little flower and it's got a whole colony on it and nobody can hear him or see him except for him because he's got the big ears, right? And the whole thing is like to have their voices heard by the end because everyone thinks he's crazy and everybody's thinking he's losing it because he can hear and see these people, right? But there's a whole colony there, and when they all say we are here, we are here, we are here at the end with their voices together, it breaks through the sound barrier and then they can be heard and seen by all these other people. Like, no, we are here. We're not just specks. We're not just nobodies. We're not just throwaways. We're here, And that always kind of like stuck out to me in a way of it's for people that go through stuff, and you got all kinds of people in society that end up being these throwaways, and they're looked at like specks on the earth, but they're here. They are here, and we are here. We're all here, and we should be more in it together and supporting each other better. Like humanity as a whole could do a lot friggin' better. Are we all Canadians or there's some Americans? Oh, we got a whole mixed bag here for sure. Yuki, we have a bit of everyone here. Some from UK too, yeah. American, apparently grew up on a bit of Canadian programs. Yeah, I didn't realize. Well, it was all mixed up too. Like we had American television too, American shows. It was kind of a mixed bag depending on the network. All right, let me get this going again here. Mr. Rogers or Lamb Chop. Yeah, that was Mr. Rogers was alright, but Lamb Chop, like this is the song that never ends. Since this goes on and on. No, I won't even do it to you guys. I'm sorry. That was probably enough to put it in your heads. Anyways, on with the show.
Don't forget to like and leave a comment. Bye-bye.
I had to let it play out because I couldn't get it to the start here. There it is.
Doing stand-up?
Yeah, well, my dad saw an article in the newspaper and asked if my sister and I wanted to do it, and I always love to make people laugh, so I did it, and I really loved it. And then
What did you talk about? Do you remember?
Well, my dad and I would tell him funny things that happened at school, like, oh, this girl's being really mean to me, and then we'd like make it into an act.
Right. And it went over very well. At 7 years old, that is amazing.
It was fun to see. It was really cool to see adults laugh. I was like, wow.
Right, exactly. Who do you admire as comedians?
Well, I really like Lucille Ball and Jim.
Definitely, though, like I was saying earlier, like she was just getting so much glee out of, impressing and getting the joy out of the adults, but she didn't really realize what all that was going to entail, where that was going to take her. Yeah, Arthur was great, and like Franklin was good. What was the other ones? Rupert, there was a show called Rupert something. I can't remember what, it was just Rupert maybe. That was a great little show. There was some gooders, back when it was like cartoons and stuff and there was no children harmed in the making of these shows. Fuck.
Carrie and Steve Martin. And, I was like, wow.
Right, exactly. Who do you admire as comedians?
Well, I really like Lucille Ball and Jim Carrey and Steve Martin.
It seems to me, because the clip that we saw was Judge Trudy,
right.
Which was hysterical takeoff on Judge Judy.
Yeah.
But it seems to me like you almost have, like the old vaudeville style of humor and the type of show you do. It seems to be more like old variety.
Right, and like the Carol Burnett show,
yeah,
Tracy Ullman show.
Right.
Yeah. So much fun.
Well, yeah, definitely, and like how she gets like how animated, like what a real character she was. That's a good point. The vaudeville, like the emphasized behaviors and movements, and like really exaggerated, and almost like Jim Carrey is kind of that way too. Hey, Raul, what's going on? Welcome.
I understand that something very.
And that's right. Chatty Cathy, Steve Martin and Jim Carrey are Canadians. That is right.
Very gross happening to you on the set. What is the story behind
Well,
that?
every day we play basketball because on all that it's like a group of kids, and so we like play basketball and we ran into the set and we like go to the candy dish. So we're like, and I got a lollipop and we went to the schoolroom and I was like licking on like a lollipop, and then like 5 minutes I looked down and there's like black crumbly stuff on it, and I like screamed because I thought it was like spider eggs or something. And then my teacher came in, he was like, "It's ants." There were like ants boiled in the lollipop or something.
Oh, come on.
I swear to God, I thought it was, it looked like mold or something. It was so disgusting. I'm like, oh God.
Well, you know, though, some people like chocolate-covered ants.
I know, my dad said it's protein, but, you know.
Actually, speaking of Donnie and Marie, I think one of the interviews I have with Amanda Bynes here is the Donnie and Marie show in like the year 2000, Jackie. So you're in for a treat.
I ate crickets on the show. I ate crickets.
On Figure It Out, that's a game show. A girl came on and she cooked cricket cookies, and I was like,
Oh man, not even just a cage too, Siobhan. Shirley Temple, they used to put kid actors in a little dark box on a cube of ice, and they would have to sit on the ice in this dark, shut-in box if they weren't doing the right thing. So not even just cages, man. Oh, if we want to go all the way back and talk about how child actors were treated back then, man. Oh, buddy.
a cricket, and she took it
Now,
and
you
scraped
did
off
this
the
on
leg.
your
the
show,
antlers
the
get
Amanda
stuck
show?
in your teeth.
No, that's on Figure It Out. That's
okay.
it. That's where we get slimed. It's like a game show. It's really fun, but...
Now, tell us about, for those who haven't seen the format of the show, explain the format of the Amanda show.
Well, the Amanda show, I come out in the very beginning and I say hi to the audience, then it goes into like sketch comedy, like I did Judge Trudy, and I play
That's it
one
right
girl, her
now.
name
That's what
Penelope
this is
Paint.
right
She's
now.
my
Derp. See, I didn't even know about the Donnie and Marie show. That one totally escaped me. Like, that must have been an American one. We had like Ricky Lake and like Jerry Springer and shit. So yeah, Derp. I just realized this is it right here. This is the Donnie and Marie, back when Donnie and Marie had a show. You were saying it, but this is it right here, right now, and I didn't even realize. So there you go.
own #1 fan, and so
Penelope.
and she has her own website. It's www.amandaplease.com. So she's a lot of fun. I like her because she says please after everything.
Do you write the sketches? Do you have a group of people
Well,
that...
we have a group of fantastic writers. Dan Schneider is like the head writer, and they're so hilarious. Like, and when I got the script and it said it, the Amanda show, was like, oh my gosh, couldn't believe it.
Was it exciting?
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, it's like my dream come true. I've always, like, in school, I always made people try to make people
Do you go to
laugh.
public school or to private?
Yeah, I was. I spaced out there for a second, and then by the time it caught up, oh Lord.
Well, this is my first year doing independent study, so on the set, it's a lot easier than having to go back to regular school, because we take 3 weeks on and then 1 week off. We have a hiatus, and then I usually went back to regular school.
Because that's a lot of work.
That's what we did.
Especially
We'd have
it's
a
lot of
teacher on the set.
Not gonna lie, that's actually a great movie. I didn't mind that movie. The Notebook, that's a gooder. That's a gooder. Like, the story writing of that and the way it all comes around, and for frig's sakes, yeah. That one's a punch in the gut. So good, though. All the monsters under the bed and live in the big bad dark, yeah. You guys used to watch Ricky Lake? You know about Ricky Lake? What else do we have? I don't know. We had all kinds. Trying to think back. What else? The Maury Show. Fuck. Montel. Montel was good.
Right, tutoring. But it was really difficult, especially for, I'm in junior high school. It's getting a lot tougher, so.
Yeah.
Now, you do a lot of different characters.
Right.
You do Barbara Walters. Will
Yeah, I
you
do
do
an
her?
impression.
You
Oh,
have
you
to
gotta do
Barbara.
Barbara.
Okay.
Gotta do Barbara.
Okay. Hello, I am Barbara Waters, and this is 2020 Friday. Tonight, we have an amazing story about the so-called new millennium. It turns out that the entire world is getting excited a whole year early. It's an amazing story you won't want to miss. I'm Barbara Waters.
Oh, Goosebumps was the best. And, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Those were some gooders, too. Definitely.
And we'll be right back.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Now, Amanda,
Yeah, I was gonna say, too, I got distracted by the Goosebumps there. But yeah, no, it's like, I wonder how sick of doing the same bits all the time she got, too. Like, having to do the same thing for so long. This is like 5-6 years later, and they're having her still do the same little bit. Like, my goodness, the repetition would drive me crazy.
You're doing a show, when you're doing a show like that, it takes a lot of work. There's a lot of preparation, a lot of rehearsals. What do you do for fun? Just to get away?
Well, I love to go shopping. I'm like shopaholic. My friends and I like, you know, we do like, I don't know, kid stuff. Like we go to movies, go ice skating, go stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, Raul. That's a good point. Highly talented and multidimensional children, and it's sort of a threat. Yeah. Well, it's people that don't have any talent really, or any real, like they can't do it themselves, so they're doing a different part of it. And in some ways, there's a dynamic there of, I'm sure, of like jealousy and stuff, and certain kind of rivalries between writers and creators of shows versus the actors on their shows. I mean, we know like Charlie Sheen had a huge feud with Chuck Lorre, you know, so like. There's always that shift between, you know, the people behind the scenes and then people in the forefront. And like with Seth MacFarlane, he's one of those ones that actually made like he traversed the bridge of being the creator of the show and being a voice on the show of Family Guy to being in movies himself and acting and doing things himself with himself. So there's like different layers there that, yeah, if you can traverse different avenues, like multi-dimensional avenues, then it makes you more of a threat and a powerhouse just in general in any industry, really. You're having a brain fart about Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yeah. It's important not to dive too much into the character, else it will fluctuate with their own personality. Well, that's it too. I mean, we do hear of some people that end up getting lost in a part, you know, especially like the heavy-duty method actors, you know. Definitely.
You can get away from it all and just be a kid, because it's an adult world you live in. It's a lot of work. You can't just get out there and just be a kid.
Totally. And a lot of kids like recognize me, so it's so nice when kids are like,
do you like that?
Oh, it's so much fun. I love to like sign autographs, and it's so cool because like I know when I see people, like if I see anybody famous, you know, and like, you know, if they're nice to me, it's like, wow. So I try to, you know, hopefully the kids will like me. I don't know.
That's great. That's great. Well, you know, coming up, we're all going to be a bunch of kids. I love it when Julie from Busch Garden comes. She brings the most amazing animals.
Do you want to stay?
Yeah.
Do you want to join us?
Oh, that'd be fun.
I love
We're all
animals.
going to be kids here this next segment. Some
You have two
wonderful,
dogs?
wonderful
Yes,
animals
Betty
coming up. Now, before we go to commercial, I just want to remind everybody.
Animals, let's all be kids. Well, they make it a good point there, though, about being, like, the kids going into the adult shows. Like, some people would be pointed out, but I feel like maybe that's why, you know, some of those shows, when you started speaking about stuff, they didn't last too long. I don't know. It's just, like, I don't know when this show ended, and I don't want to make too many assumptions, but I feel like that was almost stepping too close to biting the hand that fed them, you know? Like, kind of speaking out about having children's shows and having children acting in the same kind of realm that adults are existing in, because it's not like it's not like they shifted the industry to suit kids. The kids just kind of had to adapt and shift to suit the industry, right? You went through the talk show binge phase, drove your father insane, he hated them. Yeah, true. I mean, I think everybody had it or whatever, you know, when you're just like home from school, there'd just be stuff on TV. Whatever channel, it would just more depend on the channel that it was on the most, I guess, is what you would end up watching through the day. So you got your tongue pierced when you're in your teens watching Jenny Jones. Come on. Dun dun dun. Well, little do you know.
The Amanda Show is on Nickelodeon. Stay right there. We've got some wonderful animals coming up. Bynes from the Amanda Show on Nickelodeon. And we would like to welcome back one of our favorite guests here at Donnie and Marie from Busch Gardens Animal Ambassador, Julie Scardina is back with us. Julie, how are you?
Great.
Now, we must say that Marie is not here because she's got a monkey attached to her right now. Do you want to come join us, Marie? Just slowly come
Now,
in.
no,
Look at this, you guys.
This is...
She looks terrified. It's like they handed it to her and were like, hey, don't make any quick movements because it might tear off your face. And then she's like, what? Standing there, and she's already supposed to have come out, and they're like, are you going to come out with the monkey, or what are you doing? And she's like, I don't know. Like, I'm going to go back for a second because that's a little bit funny. I mean, it's not funny if it's actually going to maybe rip off her face. That's not great at all. But this is why I don't handle these live animals for television and have all these people clapping and yelling and all this craziness out of their habitat, their natural habitat. But Jesus, it kind of seems like she's a little terrified here.
because she's got a monkey attached to her right now. Do you want to come join us, Marie? Just slowly come
Now,
in.
no,
Look at this, you guys.
This is Maya.
Maya? Maya's a little scared, isn't she?
Well, she's used to being in front of kids because she does educational shows, but she's never met Marie before, and so we got this introduction going right beforehand, and she fell in love with Marie. So,
Oh, isn't that cute?
so we're gonna let that
How old is
happen.
Maya?
Maya's 14 years old, actually, and she has kind of a little bit of a sad history. She was somebody's pet. A lot of people don't understand the amount of commitment, space, time, and special needs that wild animals have.
Hey, Zing Ringham. Welcome, welcome. As person said earlier that she's a natural at her craft, always enjoyed her body of work. Definitely, you know, she did and she was, and honestly, I just hope to see her back healthy and well and you know, feeling back to her best self and, you know, just being able to do her life however she wants to do it. If she never acts again, I couldn't care less. I think we all want to see her just doing something that makes her happy, makes her soul sing, and that she's healthy and you know, well doing it.
And after a few years, they actually threw her into a trash can.
No, don't tell me that.
So luckily, she was rescued. We now use her for education.
I'm not sure. Is she Steve Irwin's wife? I don't really know. Somebody can fact check that if they want.
Purposes, so she has a little bit of an insecure history, but now she's doing really, really
See,
great.
that's important for people to know. They're cute here, but they're not necessarily good pets, right?
So we're gonna go ahead and don't want the banana. She's a great rainforest animal. We've got some other rainforest animals as well, and we'll talk a little bit about how important it is to keep the rainforest very healthy, because that's the only way animals like this will be able to survive out in the wild.
Really.
Okay,
Now,
well we've
but
got.
they can survive well under captivity.
Yeah, save the rainforest. Let's do more of that. Unless what the heck is going on.
Yeah, in zoos, and when people know about how to take care of them, of course, we've specialized in this, and we've learned how to... You want to stay with Marie?
If she was, like, I don't know, maybe not yet. Maybe she eventually was. I don't know. She could have been, though, being the animal trainer lady that she was. Would have been a good fit.
Okay, tell you what, let's bring the next one in here. This is Cypress.
Oh, Amanda, this is one that you'll love.
This is Cypress, and Cypress is a tarantula, or lesser anteater. There we go.
It's an anteater.
Shit, it's a big one.
Fake there, the zebra on there, Amanda. Yeah, it's fake, sorry. And so we're going to get Cypress out on the...
What does Cypress eat?
Now, Cypress actually would eat... Oh, good. We've got some honey. Why don't you put the honey in your hand?
Here, Amanda.
Now, watch the tongue.
I don't know. Maybe we'll just skip this. It's not much talking, and it's not much about Amanda. I don't know how much longer this goes on, but I don't really want to be risking it just for this little segment here. We'll get back to just the Amanda stuff. There we go. Oh.
Amazing. You started at
gotta-
7 doing stand-up?
Oh, I think it just replays it over. Maybe. That clip's weird. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on here. What happened there? Oopsie daisy. I don't know if I did that or if it was part of the original clip was like that. It's okay
I do school on the set when I'm at the show, and I'm doing.
Did my best to get as many good quality clips as I could, but I might have doubled it up by mistake myself there too. But that's okay. Good thing we can click ahead here. Cats are your hobby. I took up catting as a hobby.
Homeschool, so when I have a week off, I'll be doing my school at home, and I miss being with my friends because this is my first year doing independent study, so I miss being with my friends. So next year I'm going back to, so for high school I'll be with, you know, in regular school, so it'll be cool.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from?
Sure, I'm from Los Angeles, and I'm on the Amanda Show on Nickelodeon and all that, and I'm 14 years old, and what else? I was doing stand-up comedy when I was 7 at the Comedy Store, and then when I was 10 years old, I did it at the Laugh Factory, and that's where the producers of All That, this other comedy show, saw me, and then they asked me to go on an audition for All That, and then I got on All That, and I did that for 4 years, and then
No, there you go. So 4 years. 4 years she did all that. So that was, yeah, pretty much the whole childhood and then transitioning into her teens. Basically, sounds like.
Schneider, the creator of that show, asked if I want to do my own show, and I was like, hey, sure. So I did it, and so now I'm here. So, how? Well, my dad saw it was a kids' comedy camp. It was for like several weeks in a row, every Saturday. And at the Laugh Factory, every week a new comedian would come, like Arsenio Hall, Richard Pryor, Mark.
I don't know. I think after that, yeah, they started having her. I don't know. They just kind of. She went right into the acting stuff, so they would have had the tutor on set or whatever, but yeah, consistently for like 15 years. Jesus. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so like you got to think that's going to have take a toll on somebody. Like it's like you've lived a whole lifetime already, but you're not even an adult yet.
Curry, I think, and or Mike Curry. And Charles Fleischer, just people, the different comedians would come and critique our acts, and we would tell us what to do and stuff. So it was cool. It was fun. Oh yeah, definitely. I hope so. That'd be cool. Do I do what? I don't understand. No, right now we're hopefully going to start season 2 of The Amanda Show, so that's off right now, but hopefully a movie in the future or something, so.
What was the funniest thing that happened backstage this season?
I met Jennifer Lopez, and that was really cool. Nothing really. Because we presented the Eeyore tour, so it was cool. Nothing really. I was just really nervous. I was backstage with Frankie Muniz, or I can't pronounce his last name, and I was just so nervous. We were like, oh my gosh, we're so nervous. We were both really nervous. We were jumping around, being nervous. So it was fun.
Speaking of being nervous, summer crush. Have you ever had one, and how did it turn out?
Of course I've had a crush.
She is 14. Like, why are they asking her these freaking questions, man? Like, about her crushes and relationships. That was the one thing that always stands out. Like, when these kids are on these, like, adult shows and getting adults asking questions, why are they asking them about their, like, personal lives like that? Like, I never thought that was appropriate, you know?
I don't have a boyfriend now, but since I'm at the show, it's hard to have a boyfriend, but I don't know how do crushes work out. I'm not getting married to any guy anytime soon. So, that's all.
Jennifer Lopez's outfit at Grammys a few weeks ago.
I thought it was cool. At the Oscars, they had the creators of South Park were wearing her dress and what Gwyneth Paltrow was wearing. So that was really funny. I thought she looked good. I mean, she looks great. So.
And they were on acid. That's actually a funny time. That Oscars or whatever, when they wore the dresses, when Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park, showed up in dresses. They came in drag, but they were also on acid. Like, they ended up talking about it on one of their specials at some point, and it's actually kind of hilarious. Not gonna lie, like, that's some funny, wholesome shit that's not really harming anybody, you know, versus some of the shit that goes on behind the scenes.
Oh, I mean, I think she can do that. She's allowed to. Well, a couple of years ago I did a Good Burger. It was this, we did the premiere of it, Melissa Joan Hart and I, so we talked, and she's really nice, so that's cool. I hope maybe, because how she got to do Sabrina the Teenage Witch, I hope my career. Definitely still doing comedy, and maybe do movies, and maybe something to do with fashion design, because I draw and do lots of clothes, so I'm obsessed with shopping.
So again, though, here we are. She's bringing it up again. So all the way through for a solid 5 years now, she's had her heart set on the fashion design thing. So, like, what was stopping them from putting her into a fashion thing? One sec. Turn this down a little bit. That was like a weird. That was so weird. It was kind of distracting me, that background song. But she was stuck on the fashion thing. Like, she maintained it all the way through, and it wouldn't have taken much. Like, if she was doing the comedy things on the weekend or whatever the heck else she was doing, whatever. Like, okay, yeah, they're giving her own show, but like, why couldn't she have done that on the side? Like, there should have been some time put in for her to be able to do that, like, in between stuff. She should have been able to have a year or so to go and do her schooling, because this would have been around the time she could have gone to college the first time around, right? Like, she would have been just getting ready to finish high school and then would be picking something, but instead of being able to do that, yeah, so she's definitely, like, was committed to that in such a way. And yeah, that's a good point, Chatty Cathy. Is it true that Dan sued her during the filming of Big Fat Liar? Not sure how to look into that. Oh, really? I don't know. There probably would have been NDAs and stuff written for that stuff, that kind of thing too, though. Oh man, I'm gonna have to look into that, because I'm not sure. I don't know how I would have missed it either, but if it's lock and key, you know, in such a way legally, then nobody's gonna know, really, right? No one knows for sure. She went to New York when she stopped acting, was able to do what she wanted, and then she was done. I get it. Yeah. Well, and then at that point, she tried to go to do the fashion thing, but she was so dragged out and worn out by that point, too. Like, imagine, you know, like, totally depleted and drained of her energy, having everyone pulling her in every direction, that when she finally wants to do her own thing. But definitely, she should have gone to the fashion school first and not just to the, yeah. Definitely, that's a good point too, Jackie. It's too bad, but I hope it's not too late. She's still young. She's still got time. And that's kind of what we're hoping to do here tonight. Put that energy out there of, you know, we're here supporting her, and we just want to see her back doing whatever it is she's going to want to do that she loves, you know, whether it's acting, it's fashion, whatever it's going to be. We just want to see her back to her best self and feeling well and everything being good in her life, you know?
So maybe something with that. Well, on the Amanda Show, I do like an impression. Well, I do a character, Judge Trudy from Judge Judy. So that's one of my favorites because I get to yell at people and it's very fun. And I'm allowed to because I'm, you know, being her. So that's cool.
You write your own material?
No, they have a group of writers, Dan Schneider, who created the show, and he created Good Burger, and I mean, he created all that, Keenan and Kel, and he writes most of the sketches, and he has all these different writers, so.
Yeah, so he had his toes in all kinds of the children's programming back then, you know, and like, really, we can't say for sure about what may or may not have happened between Amanda and with Schneider. But we do know a lot of his behaviors continued well into, you know, these other stars that came out when we're talking about things that happened. So, I mean, if you can even just apply that to it, we know there was probably enough going on with, you know, the fittings where the young actresses would be trying on outfits and he'd be sitting there behind the curtain and he'd want the Polaroids and stuff, and that's just gross, you know. More on all that if you guys check out the Amanda Bynes Not Crazy video I did. It goes deeper into all the stuff there that are the potential things that may or may not have happened, but has been spoken out about by other former stars that worked with them. But so over these years, it was like, you know, decades he's been able to get away with this shit. You know what I mean? And only just really now it's more starting to come out, but he just literally had a bunch of shows get rebooted, and he was doing Zoe 102 and whatever other freaking stuff, whatever other stuff's come up now, like I don't even know. They're rebooting all kinds of stuff. I don't know if he directly has a hand in it, per se, but I'm sure he's getting royalties from it. So it's like, he really didn't get, you know, there was no punishment. And when he got let go from Nickelodeon, he was given a $7 million severance package. So really, like, it was almost like an award for all the nonsense he'd done the whole time, you know? She did the line, "Dear," with Stephen Barry's clothing. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about that, though. So they did that little line, that clothing line for her, but it was done through a company. I don't think she designed it herself. I don't think any of that was her doing. It was just putting her name on it, and I think it was a really limited run as far as the promotions and stuff for it went. And I think they ended up going bankrupt. So that's almost something I wondered if they set it up to fail on purpose, for it to be like, see, yep, you can't do it. Don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing because this is where the money is and this is what we need you to keep doing. Do you know what I mean? I kind of wondered that a little bit. In my opinion, speculation, allegedly. Who knows for sure? Not saying anything for sure, but the way that whole thing went, you know, it seemed like, you know, and I wouldn't say it right in the video, you know, set in stone, but there's a possibility that it was set up to fail more so than anything, because I don't think that it was you know, and it wasn't prepped for really and laid out the way that it could have been. Like, they could have had her wearing it in some of the shows, and then, you know what I mean? Like, if they actually wanted her to succeed in that, they would have put more into making it happen. You know what I mean? There was no reason for it to fail. There was no reason for that company to go bankrupt. Like, they had all the ingredients for success. But if you're not marketing it and you're not, you know, the PR part of it, if that's not being taken care of and it's not lining up in ways and it's not showing up in places and you're getting other young stars wearing it and drinking it and whatever, like, that's how this all works. Like, a lot of them were in soda pop commercials and just, like, different things, wearing different brands, different clothes. Like, all this stuff was, like, that's how they would get it out there and get other people wearing it or doing it or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, there was a severe lack of effort on that part of it, and almost if for no other reason than for it to be like you know what I mean? You guys know what I'm trying to say. I don't need to spell it out for you. Welcome, Stoner Killzone. Needs to be locked away forever. He needs to be put in a cell with 4 buff men. Well, yeah, because we know what happens to people that mess with kids in prison, right? Definitely. I mean, yeah, and it's fine. It's natural for kids to have, like, budding crushes and all those little things between each other and amongst each other and to be, you know, chatting with their little friends about it and whatever. But, like, once you start involving adults in that formula, that's just weird. But then, yeah, like, boys have cooties and stuff, right? Yeah, yeah. Remember, she had a fashion line for Stephen Barry's discount store called Deer. I think there's deer cut out of the net. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, so, well, I just, yeah, as per... yeah, I'm just catching up here. Sorry, guys. Yogurt and drink commercials. Yeah, exactly. Like, just whatever it was they were trying to push and sell. Like, there's no reason for it to have failed. There's no reason. Well, it's because it's almost like they didn't want to encourage her to do that. Because you got to think, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, just before her, had gone into fashion careers and left the industry behind to the point that they didn't even want to be part of the Full House reunion. Right? So they didn't want to lose another good asset. I mean, you know, figuratively, theoretically, hypothetically speaking. But exactly, they had an insane amount of merchandise, but it's like they didn't want her to excel in such a way. Like, they wanted to keep her in a cage, figuratively, you know? They give Jenna's the parameters, and if you still manage to squeak out a project that's not part of the plan, they see to it that, yeah. Well, this is it, right? Like, they really, they want you to color within the lines, so to speak, you know?
When I saw it was called the Amanda Show, I was really excited. It was really cool. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, but, like, what follows the Amanda Show? I don't know. No, I don't know. It's cool.
And that's it too, right? Like, when you're peaking, your career peaks in childhood, it is super rare for them to be able to have their adult comeback, you know, as we were kind of talking about earlier. So this was almost like squeezing every single drop out of her while she was young, and then it was like, yeah, now you're on your own, like, figure it out. Sucks to be you.
I guess swimming. Swimming's really fun, and going to the beach, doing just fun summer stuff.
As a comedian, do you have a favorite joke you'd like to tell?
Say what?
Can you teach us a joke? Do you have a favorite joke?
Oh, God. Well, on the show I do sketches. I don't really tell jokes, so I can't think of any at the moment. I'm sorry.
It would really all depend on the people around her, like the people that would be supposed to look out for her, the people, you know, the people that her team, you know, like the management teams, the public relations teams, and probably the parents did, like, in order to save money on that stuff, they probably did a lot of that themselves too, right? So I think it was such a really isolated situation where some of these other stars, they've got enough outside influence or enough, you know, access to other support systems and resources nowadays than they did back then. So, like, she kind of was just trusting the people around her to manage things and to make things happen. And what's she supposed to know? She's just the talent, right?
I'm not good on the spot.
You know what that was? I am sick and tired of saying the same shit over and over again. Like, I do not want to spit out the same little jokes every friggin' time. So I don't remember any. Goodbye, please.
Thank you.
Literally. Literally gets up. Goodbye, please. I couldn't have nailed that to the wall any better.
Amanda Bynes. And from the Lizzie McGuire movie, Hilary Duff.
Oh my God, could Ashton Kutcher be any hotter?
Yeah.
And he's like double their age, so, and you know that somebody wrote that for them to say, P.S. Hey, Spooky Fox, welcome back. Yeah, she did. Yeah, all that. I cover all that in the, I pinned it. I posted it and pinned it. The Amanda's Not Crazy video. Yeah, go in all that shit too. It's a whole friggin', yeah, and you got it too, Matt. Robbed her of her, every bit of her self-esteem, everything. Yeah, they just squeezed her dry. Perform that energetic and happy. It'd be so exhausting having to be on 24/7. Yeah, without emotion. Well, and you know, and getting into like that programming of that on its own too, which again too also to bring up the Dear Hollywood podcast by Alyson Stoner. She puts all that together really well, and it's they just had the 3rd episode come out, and it's all really good. It's all done really well, and really, you know, we can speculate all day long, but she's had the insider view. You know, she did it Cheaper by the Dozen. She was on Camp Rock or whatever. Some of these other kid shows she was backup dancer for Missy Elliott and Eminem. So she had the whole inside view from both angles there. And her perspective and view on the body autonomy and just like not really having, you know, they're not really preparing you to be an adult when you're a child teen actor. They're just, everything in their life is so regimented, and the whole thing.
Yeah, if he was Colin Farrell. Oh, that's so true. And can we please talk about Hugh Jackman for a second?
Yeah, he's like way cute.
Oh my God, I swear to God, backstage before he came out, he was all like, "Excuse me, where's the bathroom?"
No way! Oh my God, dude, he totally likes it.
I know, I totally think so too.
There are so many gorgeous.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it. Hunter, his wife, Dan's wife, she was definitely compliant in whatever the heck was going on. There was no way she couldn't know what all was going on. You know what I mean? So definitely was an accomplice to an extent.
Guys, for tonight, it's insane.
I know, and do you want to know the best part?
What's that?
These next 2 performers want nothing to do with any of them.
Oh my God, it's so true.
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Tattoo!
Oops, I don't know. I didn't really mean to skip it, but I don't think I'll be able to let that play through anyway. But I wonder if that's the one where they ended up... If that's that one. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Moving on.
Show that time, we
won't be able to play it anyway because of the song or whatever, but I think that's the one where they, like, the whole auditorium, it fills up with dancers and then they all make out at the end. I think that's that award show. That was a good award show. When I was a kid, I was like, wow, this is a lot. There's something going on here. But then again, that was meant for kids, so maybe this wasn't that. Maybe that was a different award show. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure maybe that they did a few different ones, but that was part of the one award show act that the Tattoo did. I remember, I don't know how old I was, but I was younger, and it was a pretty glorious moment that I think a lot of people soon did not forget.
To come back, and you said,
I was like, I want to, so we figured it out, and I'm here.
And see, most folks go, sure, darling, call me. All right, at 5, great, we'll do lunch.
It was all girls. They were all girl dancers, too, by the way, so it was girls making out on TV, and that was, like, such a new thing. Like, that was so, like, you never saw that kind of shit, especially not on kid stuff. So I don't know if it was a kid thing, though. I could have been watching, like, one of the adult award show things, and that was that segment. I don't really remember. But, yeah, I guess because they probably did the circuit, because Tattoo was big at the time. But, yeah. Yeah, then there's Hilary Duff. Hilary Duff made it kind of out the other side pretty well, too. So there's, you know, you really got to look at who was exposed to who and at what times, because some of them make it out the other side just fine and other ones don't. And why? It's not that person's fault. It's not that person's a fall down or that they did, you know, that they've got a problem. They have a disease. They have an addiction. They have a disease. No. There was trauma there that they're trying to escape from, and nobody wants to acknowledge it. Nobody wants to take a responsibility for it. That's literally what the whole concept of addiction really has become, is just a Band-Aid cover-up umbrella term for we fucked up and now it's their own fault. It's their own problem. Too bad for them. You know, like each generation, oh, well, they're addicts, so it's their fault. Well, no, something shady went on, some dark shit went on, and they're suffering, and that's all they've known to escape. That's their coping mechanisms to escape. So what else are they going to know, right? And then they got all these celebrities that have gone through the ringer even, like, to a whole new degree, not just with the, you know, your run-of-the-mill trauma. We all face certain complex traumas, but it's like putting a magnifying glass over it and you know, setting it on fire in such a way. So then, you know, then they make it out like all these people have such a big problem, and look at this person, look at that person, like, and blaming them for the problems they're having. But, like, really, we got to start looking at what the real problem is here.
But you didn't. And
I'm here.
So good for you.
Well, I had fun last time. So.
Well, thank you. So I'm excited about doing this show, and I'm 31, and so I've had a couple shows, but you had your own show when you were, like, what, 16, 15?
I was 13, but there were so many, like, characters that it wasn't even like me.
No, but it's incredible that you were able to have your own show.
Well, that was the thing too. Yeah, playing so many different characters all the time, trying to keep track of all the different characters, like, that's got to mess you up too. Like, take so much out of you too, as far as energy goes. Yeah, it might have been a different one. It might have been a different award show that I'm thinking of, but yeah, that would have been a tattoo thing for sure, right? It definitely happened. I just don't know if it was that actual award show or if it was an adult one, which it would have made more sense to be an adult one, but still, like, that crossover there, you could almost confuse it, like, oh, okay, this is fine, and the parents leave the room, like, whatever, it's just some kid's band playing and whatever. Next thing, there's, you know, yeah.
So at 13.
Yeah, I was lucky. I was just like, everybody was really helpful, and, you know, I was excited, but I think any 13-year-old kid would be, you know.
Any person under the age of 200 would be to have their own show.
See? So I was just very lucky.
So when did you start performing?
I think I was performing ever since I could, like, walk.
We all know it don't happen like that, so, you know, we know, and you know, we're here for it. We're here for you, Amanda. We're fucking here for you. She's still the youngest of all time to have been given her own show. Also, P.S., by the way, and probably the reason they don't do that so much anymore, because of how it's not great for their whole psyche. Like, it's a lot of pressure to be, like, the main of a show, too. Like, at that age, that young, that's so messed up.
My dad's a funny guy, so I just like to make people laugh. So when I was 7, I did a stand-up comedy class, and I would make my own outfits out of my mom's, like, shirts, and they would be like dresses on me, and I would just do dumb.
Again, with the fashion, the interest in fashion, she always had the interest in fashion, was making her own costumes to do her comedy class camp thing at 7. So well before even the clip we were watching, and when she was like 12 talking about wanting to do fashion, and then again there a few moments ago. Like, this is a consistent thing. This is a consistent want and need that she has in her soul. That is her spark. Why are they not letting her just do that? Why can't she just go do that? Why did they have to, you know, like, and I don't know what went so wrong here. Like, it's almost, I don't know. I don't want to go too deep on the theories on why it would have gone wrong again after doing her finally going to fit him and doing the whole thing. I mean, you know, obviously she was struggling, but you got to wonder what's all going on behind the scenes to poke the bear, so to speak, too, to, like, really get reactions and triggers out of her to throw her off track, you know? That, okay, if you, again, like somebody was mentioning earlier, like, if they're not doing what they want them to do, then they're not doing anything, you know? In such a way, maybe allegedly speculating. Fuck. Oh, we're almost coming up to 2 hours here. So I think maybe, yeah, we're going to take a break here. Well, yeah, maybe we'll just take another break right here, right now, because I don't know how much longer this interview goes. I think it's a few more minutes. I don't want to wait for it and then miss the 2 hour mark and then forget all about the break time and then make you guys wait. So we'll give it a couple minutes right now, and then I shall return. So get your snack, whatever, refill your drinks, and I will be right back. And we're back. It's just a quick little break there. Let me catch up with you guys in the chat, and then we will be onward. She's the Man, such an underrated, funny movie. Still love it. She undoubtedly had so much talent. I think she was like, I think she was damaged a bit by that movie too. I think she didn't like that was when she was first starting to have an issue with her body image, and her weight and stuff like that. And I think some of that, I believe that was partly, it was during that time going into it. But then definitely when she did Hall Pass, or right before she was going to do Hall Pass, she kind of dropped off. It was Easy A that she really was ready to retire, the poor girl. You were disappointed when you learned the relationship wasn't real. It was very much into the storyline of the video. Going to find the tattoo performance after this. Yeah, feel free to do that for sure. So cool during the interview, not speaking fast, she's coherent. Yeah, well, they like were pumping her with sugar before, and then there was like the lull in between, and then they got her onto the Adderall and shit. So, you know, it's always something, go, go, go. And like, what's the alternatives? Like, there's not really any other good alternative. It's maybe the lesser of other evils that could be go, 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 but still.
Jokes, and my dad was a dentist.
Oops, 1 second here. Almost did not get it back going on here for yous. How selfish of me. I was going to watch it without yous. Sorry, folks. Not doing the streams regularly, it's sometimes, you know, you lose track. Okay, here we go. Here, I'll jump back a little bit here.
Very lucky.
So when did you start performing?
I think I was performing ever since I could like walk. I just love, my dad's a funny guy, so I just like to make people laugh. So when I was 7, I did a stand-up comedy class, and I would make my own outfits out of my mom's like shirts, and they would be like dresses on me, and I would just do dumb jokes. And my dad was a dentist, so I was missing all my teeth because, you know, I was growing up. And so one of my jokes was, my dad's a practicing dentist, I just wish he would quit practicing on me. And I would show my teeth. So they were, you know, it was fun for me.
So what kind of material besides the dad's a dentist bit does a 7-year-old have to talk about?
I don't even know. I remember thinking, you know, throughout my childhood, like, yeah, I was, you know, pretty funny. I was 7 years old, telling jokes. And then I think I watched it when I was like 15, and I was like, oh my God, I wasn't funny at all. I was so not funny at all. But
you got.
She was pretty funny with her little impressions and stuff. That was the funnier stuff. It wasn't the bits that the dad wrote that were funny at all. And it's not that she wasn't funny. It's that what she was being coached to tell, for the most part, wasn't really that funny. Like the dentist stuff's not that funny. But her as her own little character and being able to put on the impersonations and stuff, that was funny. And like that's pretty much what made Jim Carrey, you know, that's what made him stand out early on too, was like not only like the overacting part of it, like the exaggerated bits, but doing impressions and stuff, right? So that's like a whole nother layer of comedy, and it's not really memorizing jokes or whatever. I guess for a while there, she was memorizing some of the same impressions and being asked to do them over and over again. So she was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore either. But like, this is why though, when you squeeze all this out of somebody and you get them to do all this stuff, like some of it's like soul sucking stuff, like 4 years of that Ask Ashley bit or whatever it was, and doing that same around the bend joke over and over and over again. And sure, maybe it was entertaining. I'm not judging anybody that was entertained by it, and it's funny. Like, when you're only watching it a couple times a week, right? But every single time, and she's doing it over and over and over again, that would drive me nuts, man. Over 4 years of that, I don't know. Because it's not like you're forced to watch every single episode of it, right? For 4 friggin' years. You know, here and there when you're a kid maybe, but then you grow past it eventually, right? You're going to take off, Rochelle? All right, no problem. Yeah, you've had a pretty crazy week, huh? The Northwest Territories fires officially kicked your arse. Oh, boy. Okie dokie. Well, you have yourself a wonderful evening. I'm glad you popped by for the time that you did. Rest well. And then, yeah, well, this is it, right, Jackie? Like, they're giving stuff to wake him up, giving stuff to put him back to sleep and keep him on a schedule because they're, like, always so regimented and overworked.
Had a chance to play comedy clubs. You played the Laugh Factory here in town.
Yeah, Laugh Factory when I was 10. That's where some of the producers saw me for all that on Nickelodeon. So they asked me to come in, and I was like, well, I don't really want to do TV. I was doing plays, like I was in the Secret Garden.
So somewhere here, between here and there, she stopped wanting to even say the guy's name, or they didn't want her to say his name anymore. She started like, because for the other interviews, she would bring up the creator, what his name, Dan Schneider, discovered her at the Laugh Factory all those times, right? But now she stopped saying his name altogether. So, and at this point, she sort of moved on and into movies and stuff, right? I believe at this point, by this year, by 2000, whatever it is, but I believe so. It's right around that time that she had moved on from working with Nickelodeon, though, for sure.
And To Kill a Mockingbird, and I was like, kind of like, I don't know. So they asked me to come in, and I was like, well, I don't really want to do TV. I was doing plays, like I was in the Secret Garden and To Kill a Mockingbird, and I was like, kind of like.
The Secret Garden is actually such a great movie. Also, P.S. guys, if you've never seen it or don't know about it, the garden where kids go to heal from their physical, mental, and emotional shit. Like that story, there's something magical there. I don't know about the fucking first movie. Like when you look back at what the heck was going on and with the first one from '93 and with some of the people involved in that movie, I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to support that adaptation of the book, but the newer one, I don't remember exactly which year. There's a newer one that came out and it's pretty good.
Like, I don't know, and all my friends loved all that, and so one day when I actually was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it, I was a little nervous, but I wore all that hat to school, and all the kids were like, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that hat? And I was like, I'm actually going to be on it. And they're like, no, you're not. I was like, and so they all came to like the first taping, my whole like class, so it was really cool.
That's very nice. And since then, you had the Amanda Bynes show, and now you've got your own show.
Yep, well, so, Jenny and I play sisters, called What I Like About You. That's the thing you just saw. It's been so fun this year because we've had new cast members, and it's sort of like high school, because you're meeting new people, and I'm having a great time, so.
And she plays your older sister.
Yep, I play Holly, and so it's sort of that relationship between sisters because my dad lives in Japan.
Oh, nope, she was still working with Schneider at this point. This was the next show he wrote for her. This was like the Bridging the Gap show into older roles, I believe.
And we don't have a mom, so it's sort of like she's my surrogate mom, but she also is my sister, so she wants to play,
She wants to play mom.
She wants to play mom, but she also wants to be the cool sister, but it's hard,
Do you guys party?
In the show? No, she's usually at work and I'm off partying somewhere.
What? What? Question. Did you literally just ask this kid? She is a child. Still. Like, what are you asking her? Do you party? What? Like, and you think he's just asking about, like, on the show, but why would they be partying on the show? Like, and she's like, yeah, haha, I party. Like, she's kind of going along with it, but it's like, oh, man. You're around her same age, and you watched all that, and you always looked up to her. So funny, quirky, and cool. You had no clue. Yeah, no, well, there's no need to feel guilty about it. There was no way any of us could have known what was going on with her, but, looking back and in retrospect, all we can really do is empathize and hope for the best for her and root for her, and have appreciation for the, when before everything kind of went to heck for her, and what could have been for her too. Like, it's just so sad to see that whoever and whatever around her sucked the light out of her, 'cause she was so vibrant and bright and radiant. She radiated, natural comedic style and all that stuff, right? So it just really makes you wonder if she didn't get sucked into the hot tub with this fucking Schneider guy, like, quite literally, for a segment. Like, oh man, whatever. We won't go too deep on that either. It's all in the Amanda Bynes It's Not Crazy video. If you guys want to go deeper on all that, this is the Amanda Bynes appreciation, so we don't need to go focusing too much on that part of it. But yeah, like, seeing her in interviews and stuff, she was definitely well-spoken. She knew her stuff. She knew what she wanted to talk about. And definitely, we're seeing a pattern of her bringing up the fashion design stuff and making her own costumes and how she, it's a recurring element here.
She wants to play mom.
She wants to play mom, but she also wants to be the cool sister, but it's hard,
Do you guys party?
In the show? No, she's usually at work and I'm off partying somewhere.
See, because if I were left at home with just an older sibling, I think the show would be called Whee! Tune in this week when Wayne goes, Whee!
That's cute. That's a good idea.
See?
Pitch that.
Okay. Hey, folks, I'm gonna have a new show called
Can I visit?
Yes.
I want to wee with you.
Okay. Do it. Ready? Go. I don't believe a grown man let you say we. You're a high school student right now, but you're being tutored.
Yeah.
And so you're the equivalent of a senior, yes?
I'm a senior, yeah.
So when you graduate, you're going to go to college like Brooke Shields did and take some time off and then come back. What are you going to do?
Oh, he brings up Brooke Shields too, like, because we know now all the stuff with Brooke Shields, man, and her documentary she came out with recently. Oh man, like the breadcrumbs were like in the forest there, like it's like all these little clues along the way, you know. So he's like, yeah, so are you gonna go do the thing like Brooke Shields, like almost as if to say like you're almost having an upbringing similar to Brooke Shields in ways, you know. Oh man, maybe not to the same degree, of course. Like she wasn't doing Playboy at 10 years old, being signed off by her freaking mother. Like, okay, like oh dude, we could go into that all day, deep dive on that. It would be an all day's worth of of details and story, you know. We could, but this is obviously about Amanda. But yeah, if you watch the documentary on that, oh man. That's a whole nother friggin' thing, man. The 70s and 80s maybe were even worse, and then it kind of peaked. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what was worse. You can't really measure one against the other of what's worse and whatever, and what people were doing for film and what was happening behind the scenes and whatever. Like, somebody's trauma is their trauma. You know, trauma is trauma, no matter how you cut it. And, like, the complexities of it are different for everybody. You know, everybody's their own person, and everybody has their own family dynamic and different variables in their life, and that, you know, make a different formula that turns into a different result at the end, you know, whether it ends up being addictions or they, you know, they put themselves in bad situations or just whatever. There's all different ways that people end up acting out to escape their trauma and to escape the things haunting them, you know. Oh, that's the most messed up thing, though, right? Like, these movies, when you're a kid and you're watching them and you don't really think, and you don't know, like, you're not thinking about what's all going into all that, and then, like, that there's a crew of people standing around when certain scenes are being filmed, and, you know, all these different movies, like, yeah, it's such a different perspective and a different view when you start picking it apart and looking at it from the young actors' views, you know? Because, yeah, like, the Blue Lagoon is actually, like, so messed up when you think about, like, the whole thing with Brooke Shields and the whole situation. And just, yeah, like, check out her documentary, man, because she says it better, obviously, than I could for her, on her behalf. But, yeah.
I want to go to college. I think right now I want to try to do another movie, and so I think I'm going to take a year or two off, but then I'm thinking maybe NYU just because I love New York. New York is my favorite place, so hoping.
Yeah, see, but that's it too. Like, why New York? They probably wanted her to go to actor studio type performing acting arts, like where the Broadway stuff was, to go to the schools like that instead of the fashion design, because why wouldn't she have gone to the fashion design after? Like, obviously somewhere in between she was like, oh, well, now you're going into movies though, so like you have a whole career ahead of you, let's just do this is what we're doing now, you know.
What I like about you is Thursdays 9 p.m. on the WB. Also catch Amanda on our new show called We'll be right back.
We'll leave you to it. They're going to be calling friends and family, hopefully a bright orange house by the end of the show.
Tom Cruise was and is off-putting to me. I can't stand to watch previews or ads for his movies. Oh, you got a Tom Cruise ad? I'm sorry for you. Sorry for that. I obviously have no control over that, but I'm sorry anyways. But, oh, yeah, like, well, you know, that's a whole friggin' thing, too. That would take all day to go down that rabbit hole, too. The Tom Cruise thing and, like, Scientology and shit. My goodness.
Nice one. All right, our first guest tonight started performing when she was 7 years old. She had her own TV show by the age of 10. In her first feature film at 15, she's been seen in films like Big Fat Liar, What a Girl Wants, Robots. Her latest is She's the Man. It's out around Australia and New Zealand April 6. Have a look.
Oh, man, like, her and Drew Barrymore need to team up and like, support one another. I feel like they had a pretty similar upbringing that way, like, being so right thrust into the limelight so young, like 7 years old, already being like this nationally known figure, public figure.
Viola! Hey! Where you been? I've been calling and calling. I miss you. We need to talk.
We've talked, Justin. All the talking is done.
Like, no one breaks up over a stupid soccer issue, okay? Can you just be a girl for 5 seconds, huh?
For 5 seconds? Okay, first of all, it's not a stupid soccer issue, and you're a jerk. Oh, look at that! Time's up!
There you go. That's what a lot of you guys. This is the Amanda Bynes you guys remember. Icon. Yeah, there you go. Exciting times for you guys.
Help yourself to a candy if you'd like.
Ooh, thanks.
I'm sorry, Scoot, and then he almost put his arm around her. Like, that was not right. There's something not right there. Like, he's like, yeah, come on closer over here, yeah. And then he's like, oh, wait, she's like 16 or 17. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Like, fuck. Oh, Lord. Right off the bat. Here we go. Here, have some candy.
I'll take red.
Now, first off, happy birthday for Monday. Will you be
Thank you, now I'm chewing.
Yeah, but you'll be 20.
Yes, I'm turning 20.
What are you planning on doing? How are you going to celebrate?
Oh, okay, thank goodness. Jesus Lord. At least she's legal, frig's sakes. But even still, like, why do they gotta, like, try to get in so close to them, man? Like, we've seen some of those other interviews, like, with Aaron Carter and stuff, where they're, like, almost on the person's lap that they're interviewing. Like, they're almost like, I want to breathe you in, I want to eat you, like, devour you. Like, and I guess definitely can't get away with it as much. That's the thing, right? You can't, like, if he was like that, acting like that towards her at this moment, no matter the age, it'd be gross. But this is the kind of shit that would happen to the young boys, and nobody said nothing about it. Like, if a grown woman was getting up close and tidy to this friggin' 12-year-old boy or whatever, or 16, 17, 18-year-old boy, nobody thought nothing of it. And it was all like, ha-ha, hee-hee, so funny. But, like, what the heck, man? Yeah, you were just thinking, yeah, you know, Jamie, you know, like, the exact interview I'm talking about, too, don't you? Because definitely we, like, touched on that. Like, we did a whole segment on that on one of the lives back then when we were focusing on all that. But definitely, you know, it's just not right. It's not right. It's so invasive. And again, I'm going to drop the Dear Hollywood podcast one more time. Alyson Stoner goes into that about having your free agency over your own body and how so many people just don't have any consideration for, like, boundaries or personal space, because it's like you're a commodity, you're a product, and you owe it to them to, like, give, you know, to just, like, allow for it.
I have no idea. I'm going to be going home. So I'll be in Los Angeles, and then I'll probably,
Now, have you made plans, or is it something you'll get home and plans will be made on your behalf?
I've made plans with my family and my, a couple friends. We're going to go out to dinner and then maybe go dancing. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
That's all right. Is it going to be a big age for you? Are you allowed to drink it at 20?
No.
You can drink here, though.
Yes, but I have not partaken in the drinking. Does that make sense?
See, like, and it's screwed up because it's almost like she had such the more wholesome upbringing too, and like the parents together and united front and everything going so great, like everything on paper looking good up until this point. And Drew didn't, but somehow Drew made it out the other side, but Amanda Bynes didn't. So almost really illustrates the whole point of everything can look so good on the outside and be so messed up, like so much emotional violence and mental violence happening behind the scenes that can end in such a terrible way, like, and have them in such a bad way on the other side, versus like Drew was kind of on her own, even like she was given like the worst, all of the obstacles you could think of standing in her way, and still at some point she was able to get enough of that support and get enough on her own feet and have her own company and make enough of her own choices and do more of what she wanted to do, rather than selling herself out on what she was given, what roles she was being given at that point after she got out of rehab, and they were only giving her these erotic roles like we were talking about earlier, to transition into adulthood. And for those of you guys that have seen the Drew videos that I did, her and Alyson Milano ended up doing a lot of the same parts, and they pretty much said it, they you know, spelled it out for us that it's not that they wanted to do those roles, but if they didn't take them, their career was basically over. Like, they had to take what they were given, and then to transition into a more adult, wholesome roles, right? And then that wasn't happening for Drew, so she ended up making her own production company, you know, and then was able to take some time and then spend some time thinking about what she really wanted to do with her future, and didn't have so much other external involvement, where you've got these parents that are so hyper involved and so like got their claws in on her that it's like they've suffocated her and shriveled her up into this little, you know, like, I don't know how better to explain that. It's like lack of better words, but that's like so weird. It's so weird to think that, you know, you could like, maybe not weird, but it's interesting to see that coming from such wildly different spectrums of the home life and childhood. Like, Drew had no father figure whatsoever, and then the mom was kind of all over the place. Like, they ended up being more like friends. And not saying that Drew's childhood was any better, like that was a good thing or anything like that. There was both very messed up childhoods, you know, but I guess just to point out the fact and to really make a point of the fact that it could all look fine on the outside, everything coming together, the career ahead of her, everything going just fine, but really behind the scenes, nothing is fine. Where everything seemed not fine on the surface with Drew, like everything in all the tabloids, papers, everything, like, oh my God, she's out of control, but really she was able to bring it back and find her own footing and go from there, where it's like, I feel like, yeah, she was given the chance to find her own footing, but I don't think there was really ever enough preparation for her to actually be prepared to take care of her own self, where even, yeah, Drew, neither did she, and she was out on her own at 15 and whatever, but I think there was enough allies around and enough support around that she was able to get to that next step, where with Amanda, I feel like there was just so much control around her, even after having the conservatorship ended. I think her parents got such like a, I don't know, man, and I'm not saying it's just the parents, I'm not saying it's just the Schneider situation, it's not any one particular situation, but it's almost like it's a boiling pot for a similar, it's the same situation, you know, in some ways, except that she didn't end up getting so crazy on the drugs and the alcohol and whatever. It was more of a contained situation, but then it exploded, where Drew kind of went off and bounced off the walls here and there and fell in the gutter and got herself back out and up and down and around. You know, and if anything, like, neither way is good. They're both extremes. They're both very bad extremes of a childhood to have, but it's interesting to see that on paper what would have looked like Amanda would have been the one to make it out the other side and be having her own talk show and doing the whole thing right now is where it is right now versus Drew. So what's the difference there, too, is where does it cross over that that Drew was able to get over to the other side? Like, what was the perfect factors and the different variables that came in line for her to be able to get up and over the hump and get her own faculty of her own self and whatever, right? So I think that's just something I needed to point it out at some point here, and I figured this was the time to do it, and I will quit rambling on for you guys now. I think you guys got it. You got enough of that. You know what I'm saying. So we'll continue on here, but it is interesting. It is very interesting.
Or have you?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Scout's honor.
No, fair enough. Now, I mentioned that you started performing when you were 7, which is correct, isn't it?
Yes.
And you were doing comedy.
Yes, my first commercial I did when I was 7 was actually for a candy commercial for Nestle's Bunch of Crunch, and it was just like you got to eat candy, and that was why I wanted to do it. And I told my mom, I was like, no, this is great. I was like, it'll be fun commercial, and I really just wanted to eat candy. So that's how I got involved.
So what's the comedy camp I've heard that you've been on? Is that for kids who are really bad at rowing a kayak but can tell a good joke?
Oddly enough, no.
What? Hey?
No, it was...
Oh, yeah, well, and that's it, too. And honestly, though, like, Drew didn't become fully sober until, like, a few years ago. It wasn't up until, like, 2020 or 2021 that she actually completely became sober, like, quit drinking and everything altogether and decided, like, she just wasn't going to be doing anything anymore because it wasn't serving her positively in her life and it was blocking her from having on her healing journey, basically, you know? Which we'll be getting into that on the later parts of Drew in that series. You know, her going through it in her adulthood and unpacking it as an adult, and it's still even, she's like 40, she was like 47, I believe, when, or maybe she's 47 now. I'd have to double check on that, but in her 40s, mid to late 40s, when she finally fully became sober. So, I mean, even in the best of circumstances, and she did have the best of support around her and the best of influences and the best of the therapy and all these things, like, she could afford the best of the best, obviously. She's fucking Drew Barrymore. Even on those best of circumstances, it took her this long. Yes, like you said, they have to be the one to decide. It's really up to them to decide. And in all circumstances, things could all look fine. But really, there's still certain things some people might be trying to escape from, even if everything is looking okay and they're doing okay. So again, on the flip side, where Drew now seems like she's got everything together, but really she's still just trying to work out her own shit too, you know, and try to figure out what's working for her, and finally getting ready to let go of the reins and quit trying to outrun herself, you know. So there's no shame. It's really is like, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get to the top of the mountain, as long as you get there. And I really just hope that with Amanda Bynes here, like she doesn't get left behind in all this and then discarded and disregarded and dismissed as just having this addiction and this problem, because that's not what it is. There's so much more to it, and she needs people's support. She needs people to be focusing on her wins and giving her positive reinforcement and giving more focus to that and more attention to that, and stop making a whole big scene about it every time she's stumbling, you know, because it's just messed up. It's the way we've been doing it for this long is just, it's not working, clearly, you know. Anyways, moving on here. Sorry, guys. I feel passionate about it.
What happens on comedy camp? I've never heard of comedy camp.
Well, it's not that common, but it was at the Comedy Store when I was 7, and then when I was 10, it was at the Laugh Factory, and it's basically a comedy place, you know, where people, you know, adults, you know, do stand-up.
Yeah, so my parents handed me over to these adults when I was 7 and 10, and wanted me to be a comedian, so here we are.
And they have Saturday classes for kids, like underprivileged kids in the city, and for some reason my sister and I, like my dad read about it in the paper, and, you know, and we were, you know, with these kids, and, you know, we did it, and it was fun, and I out of the 30 kids, was one of the 10 chosen for the graduation night, where we actually did it in front of a real audience on a Thursday night with like the stand-up crowd, and that was where 2 of the producers from Nickelodeon, All That, saw me, and then I, you know, auditioned for the show from there.
Now, what type of jokes are you doing at that age?
Again, didn't even want to say his name anymore. Yeah, no, I know you guys enjoy the rants, and I know we all, you know, it's the point is the discussion and making the point, right? But I know I don't need to overdo it with you guys. I know you guys know I know you're picking up what I'm putting down, so I don't gotta over explain. Genuine person in her life. I don't think Paul was to Amanda. Yeah, well, for sure, Michael Paul, or Paul Michael, or whatever, and just certain other people. Yeah, like it really all depends on how genuine and authentic people are about how much they care about you. For sure, do they care about your best interest and where your future's going and what's going to happen to you when they're not there to be your crutch or whatever, or are they gonna be using you for their own needs and sucking you dry for their own agenda? You know what I mean? Which it seemed like in some ways that that might have been what he was doing, you know, and like wanting to take over the monetization of her career, and had her trying to do rap songs and stuff, and it was like, what the heck is even going on here? Like, let the girl just breathe for 2 minutes. Like, she's been working her entire friggin' life, you know? She don't need to have her whole big comeback while she's in the middle of recovery, right? So, like, definitely just having her own life going on just for her, and then yes, people in it that are just supporting it for her and her future and what's best for her, and not trying to get her out drinking or doing anything crazy or whatever, you know, too. Sometimes certain groups of friends can be a bad influence too. You know, they'll be there at your darkest days, but for the most part, they're bringing you to your darkest days, you know, dragging you out, wanting to be drinking and partying and being crazy all the time, when you got to be focusing it on your own future and what you should be doing, right? Which she kind of went on that boat for a little bit too, and when she was in New York and started doing MDMA and doing all those other crazy things. But Hunter, sounds so cliche, but social media plays a massive hand in things. Yes, well, there is also that. That's also a very good point. The way that things are carried on in the media and carried on on social media and brought up again, you know, and where with Drew, it's sort of been more her choice to bring up certain things along the way on her show and going into stuff, and there was no real record of a lot of it, where with the way the paparazzi was with Amanda and the way that all hit a fever pitch between like Britney Spears and Amanda, that is one of the big differences. That's a really good point, Hunter. One of the big differences between what Amanda and Britney ended up going through was having enough of privacy and being able to go retreat and do her thing for a bit. Yes. Good point. Good point. Mike the Mexican Pyro Shark. Welcome, Pyro Shark. Big clue just opened up right there that she started her career to indulge in candy. Yeah. Yes. That's actually a good point. Can take over all your mental faculties. That's absolutely true, too. Like the dangling the carrot over their head. Like, what is the incentive that's going to get you to keep moving this cart forward? Because really, it could be anything for anybody. Do they want fame? Do they want money? Do they want candy? Right? Like, what do you want? Do you want a new car? Do you want a trip? Do you want a boat? We can get you a deal on a boat. Like, all these different things, like, that they can go and make it happen for you so long as you keep, you know, dance, monkey, dance, and let them be holding you like a marionette, you know? Definitely. That also, P.S. How many hands are in the bucket at the same time?
Well, it was mostly like, you know, stealing candy jokes and things of that nature. But my dad actually wrote it. It was...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was one of those things, like, he had, like, all these funny jokes about his childhood, and so he sort of just lived through me, and I was like, you know, I was thrilled to do it. I was like, okay, cool. So...
I tried getting my dad to write my jokes. Walked out one night and just said, hey, everyone, pull my finger. Didn't go down so well.
Yeah, so there again, too, kind of mentioning, like, that this is just what her dad wanted her to do, and he kind of was living vicariously through her, but then once it was all happening, you know, once you're a star, you're a star. There's no real turning back. You're either, like, a star that failed, or you keep going with it and keep trying to go bigger, better, and keep it going. Which actually, I think it's Corey Feldman goes into it pretty good on one of these podcasts. I don't even remember which one. It doesn't really matter, but he talks about it, that it's like, if you do go to try to have a normal life, people look at it as a failure, and they make, you know, a point to point it out that, oh yeah, they just, you know, they didn't have what it took or whatever, and try to put shame on that for wanting to remove themselves from it, right? Yeah, like, that's another recurring pattern here in these interviews, is the dad pushed her to it. He wrote a lot of her material, and she didn't even think any of it's funny anymore, but that, you know, she's here now, and she still kept mentioning the fashion stuff, but now not wanting to mention Schneider's name at all. The last couple of interviews, she was, like, avoiding saying it, where before she was like, oh yeah, this guy, and so excited about everything, but obviously something along the way changed, right?
Not so much. Never mind.
Rove and Amanda, how you doing?
Oh, hey, Chris.
Hey, how you doing? Great to have you. Peter Hellier, Teen Star. And it's freaking me out, Amanda, and you've probably noticed it as well, but I have the best unlook-alike for you. Can you stand up, sir? It's freaking me out how much he does not look like you. I mean, are you okay with that? We can remove him from the studio. That's...
Serious? No, but we can, under the new...
No, you should stay, but we look nothing alike, so I guess
it's amazing. It's freaking me out a little bit.
But seriously, because we've got new laws in this country where you can sack anybody whenever you want. I want you out. I think you're no good. Get him out, Pete. Get him out.
Sorry, mate.
Isn't that like a soccer shirt?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Spooky Fox. That's what I was saying, too. It's like, well, the audience is going to be good if they're strapped down and you got sharp instruments in their mouths. Like, of course they're going to ha-ha with you and, like, humor you. And also just to be polite. Like, you have no friggin' choice, right? Like, you got to be nice to the old man dentist because he's friggin' working on your mouth, right? And then, yeah, so he thinks he's got such good material, but it's not. It's really not.
It's just that easy.
Sorry.
Yeah, they really are getting rid of it. Everyone else is going to be really well behaved now. Now you're
keep walking.
What is it?
Keep walking. Now you're a 19, 20-year-old. You're living in Hollywood, or you know, living the life of a Hollywood star. How is it that you get to avoid all that kind of tabloid stuff? All that you see a lot of young starlets in Hollywood who fall off the tracks. How have you managed to avoid all of that?
You know, I think there's so many girls who go to parties and, like, are photographed doing it, and sort of, I think they feed off of it, and I think it makes them feel like, you know, more of a celebrity or something, and it's just, that's not who I am, and I feel like you don't need one more, you know. There's so many girls who are doing that, so I'm going, like, the other route, and I want to just sort of, you know, try to be a good role model for kids, and, you know.
Oh, Lord. This is so, like, hard to watch almost, because she's like, yeah, like, I've made it on the other side, and I'm going to be a good role model, and I'm making all the right choices, and everything's going great. And I don't know why, but I can still hear when I'm playing this. It's like whoever they kicked off, you could still hear their mic talking in the background, so that's a little annoying, but I thought there was something playing in the background, but it's just this fucking clip, but whatever. And it's not the music, because there's no words in the music. But yeah, anyway, so they're like trying to make a joke kicking this guy off, but then they're not unmiking him because obviously he was like a plant in the audience. Freaking thing. Anyways, yeah, like they'd all be forced to just partake in the whole dentist thing, so it's silly. That's a silly way to gauge whether or not the jokes are hitting. Why does he have a CCCP shirt? I don't even know what that means. Mexican Pyro Shark. She had so much pressure on her surrounding this issue. Definitely, like walking such a thin line. I'm even going to go back on it a little bit here because that's like she's really hitting on a point there where it's like even if you do avoid the partying and doing it just the way that all these other people were doing it, like the Lindsay Lohans and the whatever of the world, Paris Hilton and Britney and stuff at the time, not yet, maybe. No, this wasn't quite yet. She wasn't doing it yet. But, you know, like that's where all that led. And she kind of avoided that but still ended up, you know? So what's going on here that we need to change?
Photograph doing it and sort of I think they feed off of it, and I think it makes them feel like, you know, more of a celebrity or something, and it's just that's not who I am, and I feel like you don't need one more, you know. There's so many girls who are doing that, so I'm going like the other route, and I want to just sort of, you know, try to be a good role model for kids and, you know, still grow up, but sort of, you know, like I look up to, you know, Sarah Jessica Parker and Kate Hudson and Sandra Bullock, like girls that are, you know, like funny but aren't sort of like, you know, all about what they.
Like, yeah, she was trying to be wholesome, like, grown-up comedian so much. Like, she really just wanted it. And, like, yeah, Sandra Bullock ended up being pretty damn funny. Like, Miss Congeniality and shit, that shit was hilarious. Like, if that was what she was trying to strive for, like, this poor friggin' girl, man. Like, I don't know what happened here, but, like... And we don't even need her to be Sandra Bullock. That's fine. You could go do design dresses with the Olsen twins or some shit. That would be great. Anything except for... needed to escape whatever the fuck is happening. Like, something needs to happen here for her, and I really hope she's getting that support and is going to be given passage to go do whatever it is she would like to do and not be pressured to have just that one path predetermined for her here.
Do, like, you know, on the weekends or whatever.
And is that the same with the film roles you choose as well? Because She's the Man I mean, you play comedy very well. This is almost would this be your first romantic kind of comedy?
It sort of becomes a romantic comedy, just like Tootsie. There's a love triangle where I fall in love with my roommate, but he doesn't know that I'm a girl, and it does become a romantic comedy.
Now, should point out at this point, you aren't dressed like this at the time.
No, I look like a very odd man, just like that guy. We actually look
But essentially, your character wants to... Her soccer team, her girls' soccer team gets cut from the school, so she signs up to join the boys' team, so has to dress as a guy.
Exactly.
So you had to dress as a guy.
Yep.
How was that?
Well, as you see, I just look like a dainty man. I look like a girl with like a weird hairdo, and I'm wearing like a padded man suit, which doesn't make me look more manly at all. I just look sort of like pudgy and strange. So
did you?
Yeah, see, so that was the thing, like, this was part of her body image, feeling the pudgy. Did you notice her comment there about feeling pudgy? This was, like, the beginnings of her starting to, like, seeing herself through the cameras and looking at herself and then being embarrassed or whatever about, like, coming into womanhood, too, I guess. Like, because obviously she was younger, she was really, like, she was a pretty skinny kid, but once you start growing... hips and different things, you know, you start, you know, so I think she had such this weird perception of it too, where like Jeanette McCurdy goes into it really well in her memoir, and she had worked with Schneider and for Nickelodeon and everything, and her whole thing with the body image and trying to keep her body youthful to keep being able to get work too, and like having the mom had kind of encouraged that too, right? So it's like, whatever angle it comes from, there's some pressure on that, and she definitely, I remembered her, yeah, there being something about it was She's the Man where it first started, and this is where it's like she was wearing a suit underneath, and then she was like, so I felt pudgy, but it wasn't even like her full-on body. This was like all the padding and all the other stuff they put on her, and for this whole thing, it was like right when she was going to be so self-conscious about herself and her body developing and everything happening that they go and put her in a role like this, which they kind of did the same thing to Jonathan Brandis. I don't know if you guys remember, but I kind of touch on that in the Drew video where he did shit, I forget exactly what the movie is, but it was almost the same thing, and it was for the soccer team or whatever, and he had to dress as a girl to be able to be on the soccer team, and it was with like Rodney Dangerfield, I think, or something like that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But I think in some cases, like, sure, fine, it's a funny movie and then people enjoyed it and it's whatever, but depending on the timing of that young teen's life that they are having that, like, going through that experience, could be damaging to their body image and giving them some kind of dysmorphia, for sure, you know. And then Jonathan Brandis ended up choosing to end his own life in a very not great way. Like, it was very intentional, not accidental. I guess that's as much as I'm going to say on that, because we don't need to go into that deep darkness right at the moment. But, you know, like, there's just something fundamentally wrong with some of the things that are happening with some of these young actors and actresses, and we just hope she gets through the other side and it doesn't end that way for her the way it did for Brandis, I guess is where we're getting at here, you know?
Did you study, like, did you go out and watch guys and see how they behave, see how they sit, how they walk, that kind of thing?
Yes, I went to a couple different malls with the director, and we sort of just, like, took notes, and we sort of did it just so we could say that we did it, but because the truth is you just sort of, when you're dressed up in a guy outfit, there's really no training, you know, no extensive training you can do. You just sort of act like a weird dude, you know?
So one thing I would like to learn, which I'm sure you can teach me, how do you stand like a man? I have no idea.
You're really gonna make me do this?
What have you? Well, you know, the guys did that structure that.
Oh wow, Jackie, I didn't know about that. Nicole Richie's parties, that's messed up. That's messed up, and you gotta wonder where that all comes from, though, right? Like, where is this all getting put in these girls' heads, man? Like, that's so fucked up. Like, that's not cool. That's not okay. We could have had someone to talk to about this. Yeah, for sure. Sad to think she must have been going through later when she made that. Yeah, absolutely. She got sick when she was filming Shipwrecked and lost some weight, and her mom told her she never looked better. What? Wow, Hunter, that's insane. Wow. That's just twisted. That's twisted. But so maybe, too, because of, like, the Jeanette McCurdy situation where, like, that's, like, fitting the whatever it was that was getting all the work before, you know, fitting the image they had created, you know, and so then that girl wants to maintain that, but, like, once your body starts developing and shit, you're not going to stay, like, a stick. Like, that's, you know, you talk to your 15-year-old daughter about body image, Y2K, it was all about American Eagle, Hollister, yeah, and McCrobbie and Fitch and all that, yep.
Hey, you know, do you do a bit of, come on.
Yeah, I don't know, just sort of like...
Is there a bit of that?
Slump a little bit.
Schlimp?
Like, schlump.
Oh,
You know,
schlump.
it's like a Jewish word, like, is it? I am Jewish, but okay. I'm shaming all my relatives. You sort of...
But what guys, the guys just kind of, yeah, whatever, dude.
Like, you know,
Just hang
stop.
it.
And I sort of... I did it like,
that's
I
really
did it,
guy.
I did
That's
it
a
like
very...
a gangster, you know? I had to keep it real, you know, like a gangster.
Whatever, dude, whatever.
Because, you know,
whatever.
guys sort of talk like rap stars. They're like, holla at your boy, or whatever they say.
Well, it looks like it was a lot of fun.
It was. It really was.
And, I mean, you've obviously been in a lot of films now. You've got you do have a music career as well, but is there anything...
No, I don't.
Don't you? You must have a music career. You've done a bit of singing, haven't you?
No.
But don't you... I know you want to be on Broadway, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, you must be able to sing.
Yeah,
Okay, so then again, why did that not happen for her, but was given passage to Ariana Grande? Wondering what was standing in the way of all these things that would have let her fly out of the cage.
Help?
Yes, no, that's very true. No, I'm not that good. No.
So what do you want, you know, with everything that you've done it all. You've done it all before you've even hit 20. So, future aspirations, what's the one thing, if you could still tick it off your list, what would it be?
Well, like, this is the stuff that we obviously, like, exactly, right? Like, this is stuff we can all learn from. Like, some of this is, it's general. It could be for anybody's parents or anybody's mother or anybody, you know, could be going through certain things, different pressures or different body image issues, right? So this is where, you know, just the hidden gems, I guess, where things can be learned from it, or at least, you know, some people, if they've gone through the same experience, they feel less alone. And I think that's the one thing is a lot of people end up feeling so alone, and they want, like, and that's why they want to escape it, and they feel ashamed of the different things that they're going through. But it's for, you know, when you start talking about it and you start opening it up like this, then, like, you know, you see that you're not quite that alone. You know, you're saying you relate to it. Jeanette McCurdy, she talks about it in her book. I'm sure other women could relate to that. You know what I mean? Like that on a general level. That's not just Hollywood. You know, so definitely a lot that can be learned just in general.
I guess it would be to be on Broadway or to be in a movie that, you know, like I was watching Mystic River, like to be in a movie like that, you know, that's something like an amazing story that, you know, like that sort of just touches you, you know, like something I think dramatic would be, because I grew up doing, you know, plays when, you know, in my community theater area. And so, but since then I've only done sketch comedy. And so I would love to sort of do something, you know, that kind of just makes you cry, you know, Rove, just gets you.
She wants more roles with substance. She didn't want to be typecasted as this ditzy, goofy comedian the whole time, where there is you can go into the comedy aspect and it's still being heartwarming and wholesome and having the substance, which, like, yeah, like Sandra Bullock, or where, you know, Drew Barrymore eventually was able to get herself into, which that's kind of, yeah, I can see that this is what she wanted to strive for. But again, if you're only given particular parts in certain jobs, and, you know, maybe she didn't want to do whatever certain things it was going to take for her to get there, and then, you know, I don't know, again, speculation and whatever. We're not even alleging anything, we're just saying in general here. But hey, welcome back, Young Rich. So glad you brought up Ariana Grande. I was watching earlier Nick videos of Ariana, and they try to make sound act exactly like Amanda. It was so freaky, but it ended up working out in her favor. Right? Fair enough. But then she was able to go on and have her own other separate different career or whatever, where it seems like Amanda was kept in this little bubble, and now, like, the bubble burst, and what's she gonna do? She's standing there, you know, at the center of it, and imploding in waves, you know? Yeah, that's messed up about your mom, Jamie. I'm sorry to hear that. That's, like, but that's it. When it's your parents, you just think it's normal. Like, until you're getting older and you start comparing the normal to other people's normal, you almost don't even realize how abnormal some things are. Which, again, is why sometimes it takes these people, like, people in general, it takes them till they're, you know, mid to late 20s, you know, going into their 30s, sometimes 40s, 50s, that they're still, you know, picking apart and trying to figure out what the heck went wrong, or what, you know, all the things that happened to them. You know, because sometimes it seems so normal. It just seems like a normal thing. You don't really think of it. You don't think anything of it until somebody's like, well, that's not normal. Like, what the heck? Your mom controlled your diet like that? Like, that's not healthy, you know, or whatever, right? And what are you going to know until you know? You know?
Soccer ball to the groin does that for me. Well, look, you will be back to help us out with our help desk as well. So any questions that you think Amanda will be able to answer, helpdesk@rovelive.com. The movie is She's the Man. It's out April 6th. Amanda Bynes, everybody. See you soon. Thanks for that. Still to come, Kanye West and Wapner. Don't go anywhere.
Amanda Bynes from The Amanda Show.
Hi, I'm Jessica. How are you?
Thank you.
So, are you finished filming with your show?
We're doing the 17th episode.
So, you play a multitude of weird, different characters. Could you explain your favorite?
I guess I like Judge Trudy, and because she's a lot of fun, and I get to slam the gavel, so that's a lot of fun. And I don't know, they're all really fun. I don't really have a favorite.
I don't know. I think you play your own biggest fan. Is that kind of weird?
I don't know. I've never met her. I can't comment on that.
And do you have anything besides your show coming up?
Well, nothing right.
I don't... Oh, Lord. I wonder if she's trying to say that, like, as in character, or if that was, like, a moment there for a moment. I don't know. Probably she was just making a joke. You know, maybe I'm reading too deep into it here, but she made me feel bad because she hadn't, even though... Wow. What? Nah, that's messed up. I don't like that. I don't like to hear that, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. That's so much. Like, there's so many different things that can be better understood, though. for women and for men, like by going through all this stuff and digging into it. You know, there's certain things that end up like that can be a more common thing than people realize, you know. And then again, not feeling so alone in certain experiences can help you heal along the way. You're hopeful for the youth. Yeah, I got faith in the youth of tomorrow. I think things have been coming around in a big way, especially in the last few years. Like the Great Awakening, man. I'm here for it. Fight the good fight.
Now, but hopefully a movie in the future. So we can hope.
Okay, thank you. It was really nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Amanda.
Peter keeps saying I have to be a team player. I have always been a team player. I just happen to hate this team. It works so much. Why don't you just quit? Start your own company. You could have it exactly the way you want it. Hire all women and maybe a sassy gay guy.
Oh, poor Amanda. That's literally what she should have done. That's what she should have been able to do, is start her own company and do what she wanted and surround herself with wholesome, supportive women. And like that's pretty much what Drew did too. Like for the most part, she had her. I don't know if her assistant was gay or not, but she has the one longtime assistant, male assistant, and then other than that, pretty much it's all women that she worked with when she started her company, Flower Films. This might be backwards a little bit. This was the show. I think this got mixed up. The timeline of this might have got mixed up. This might have been just before She's the Man. This was the television show she had right before she started getting into the films. So this might be backwards a little bit, but it's right around the same time. It's not too far back.
God, I wish I lived in there. I bet it's all full of funny cartoons and stuff. Now, if this is about money, I've got $1,100. I've got $75 in my savings account. It's yours.
Please give a great big Osborne welcome to Amanda Bynes and...
Oh my god, the Osbournes though too. That show was kind of funny. And Sharon Osbourne, my goodness. Yeah, that was the last show she worked on that Schneider produced. That's right, Hunter. Thanks for that. Yeah, that's right.
Jenny Garth.
My apologies, guys. Yeah, I think I mixed up the clips on this one and the timing. I tried to get them all pretty much in the right chronological order here, but some of them it didn't have like a year on it, and you just kind of were guessing as you went, but anyways. I should have known because of the show, but it is what it is. My bad. Oh yeah, the one at the red carpet thing, the quick little one in between. Some of them might not be exactly just right, but I wanted to get it all ready, and I wanted to have a good amount of clips rather than it being like, you know, I wanted to make sure I got as much as I could and have it ready to go, and so I maybe wasn't paying as much attention to detail as I should have been, and I apologize.
Hello, everybody.
What a cool set.
I know,
Do you like
it? To your house.
Love it.
I like it.
I want to come to
cozy.
your house.
You can come to my house anytime.
I like it.
Anytime you want. All right, come on. Let's have the introduction.
Yeah, she had a show for a little bit. Sharon had her own little talk show for a bit, and then she was on The View or something for a bit, wasn't she? Hey, 420. What's going on, bud? Haven't seen you in a bit.
This is Roxy.
She's terrified right now.
She's so scared, but...
It's her first television appearance.
It's her debut.
Yes.
This is my newest baby.
And how old is she?
She's 2.5 months. She's a babe. Yeah, I knew you'd love her. That's why
You know, and with no dogs in the house today, I'm just like, I'm gonna have to steal her. I am.
Here, you hold her. It'll make you feel better.
Smells really nice.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've never been to a show where it smells good. Flowers.
The difference between a women's talk show, though, and a men's talk show. She's like, it always smells like sweat and coffee. Like, what's going on here? That smells like flowers.
I like it because ladies are on the show, so I knew that you were coming, so I like it to smell nice.
Aww,
because we
so
have
nice.
ladies in the house today. All right, come on, you guys, tell me. Do you
Straight up. Oh, thanks, 420. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Just curious. It's hard to grow into your own as a teen, and I'm sure it was even harder when she's... Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
really get on? Truth,
No,
come on.
we hate each other.
Come on, Jenny.
No, we actually, it's weird because Amanda and I met and we got together to do this show, and we have the same birthday, which is very ironic. And
April 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
We'll remember. Amanda will remember.
And so we've just always gotten along like sort of like sisters from the very beginning. We've just had a really great chemistry together.
Yeah, Sharon's like in her head, she's like, hee, I just farted. If you've seen the Osbournes, like really, that's what she was really thinking.
Good connection. So thank God, because we have to, like each other on the show. So I can't imagine not liking you. And that would be horrible.
Take a big whiff, darling, I farted. That's the flowers you're smelling. No, okay, I'm being silly, but...
Wouldn't
really
that
be hard.
be awful if
Yes.
you're in like a really successful show, just like you're in, and the person that was playing your sister or whatever it was in your family you don't get on with? I couldn't think what that would be like.
Horrible.
Yeah. It would be terrible.
I've never done that.
I think that people would be able to sense, awkwardness between you. So it's good, that it's real.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, I've never met either one.
I prefer sunflowers. Please and thank you. Yeah, you guys remember the Osbournes? Yeah, that's some good shit. That was funny. Back in the day. When she shat in Buddy's weed, the brother's weed stash bag.
One of you, but it's like I've watched you both grow up on TV.
That's true.
No, I have. The pair
different
of you,
eras,
different eras. I have watched you both grow up, and it's like it's so weird for me to have you like sat here now talking to me with my new baby Roxy. Do you take her to work with you?
She goes to work as well as all my other kids. So it's like a
now you
menagerie.
have a 6-year-old and a 10-month-old.
Right.
2 little girls.
Yes.
Lola
and Luca. And I'm learning as Amanda is growing up, and I've sort of been going along with on the ride with her as she's growing up, and sort of going and revisiting my own youth during the process. I'm watching and thinking in the back of my mind, oh my God, this is what it's going to be like when Luca's 16, 17, 18. I don't know if I can handle it.
Let me tell you something, Jenny. It gets harder as they get older. The problems just get bigger and bigger
worse.
and
Good
bigger.
to know.
Yes, yeah, they do.
I'm enjoying it.
Oh yeah, I know you are.
What is... Okay, so speaking of all that, then, Beverly Hills 90210 and shit, what's going on with fucking Tori Spelling right now? I feel like that needs to be visited at some point, but we're not going to right here, right now, but I don't freaking know what's going on with that, because I touched on Tori Spelling in the Drew video, and then they ended up doing an interview together at one point, and then something's gone really messed up. Like, I don't know what the heck is going on now with Tori Spelling, but yeah, that's gonna be, we're gonna have to talk about that one of these days soon, because there's something going on there, and whoa, like that took a nosedive so freaking quickly. What the friggin' hell, So, P.S. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Chatty Cathy, and reminding me, Beverly Hills 90210. Oh, sure, they both experienced co-stars they had to pretend to like. Yeah, fair. Yeah. How often do they rip silent farts during the show and they keep talking and they're actually breathing in? Yeah. Fair enough. Mexican Pyro Shark, that's funny.
Our cameras went behind the scenes with Jenny on the set.
Not even to be nosy, just like out of concern with the Tori situation, Jackie. Like, what the heck?
We'll take a little look as we go to break, so don't go away. Hey, Sharon, it's me, Jenny, and welcome to Behind the Scenes with Jenny on the set.
Oops, I didn't mean to hit that. I meant to hit the pause. Are you okay? P.S. Jackie, are you the Jackie or are you a different Jackie? By the way, I'm trying to figure out because the pictures changed and I'm trying to keep track of who's who, and we have other Jackies in here. Another Jackie, I think, but this might be the same Jackie now. I'm not even sure anymore. You guys gotta quit changing shit up and changing your names and shit.
We'll take a little look as we go to break, so don't go away.
Yes, you're Jackie. I figured as much, but I just wanted to be sure because I see that you've changed. Okay, so you're the other one. All right, never mind. No, that's a new picture, so don't know about that. Definitely not. Not in here then. Maybe it never showed in here properly because I don't recall it. Or just it had, yeah, I don't know. You're just newer in here. I don't know. I know, you're wondering too, right, Jamie? You're not sure. From a while ago, maybe? So maybe from a while ago and then it's changed now. I don't know. But, okay, whichever. It's not that Jackie. There is another Jackie, though. Okay, just making sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure, Jamie.
Hey, Sharon. It's me, Jenny. And welcome to the set of What I Like About You. Now I'm going to show you 5 things that you probably didn't know about the show and the goings on here. First of all, I bring my dog to work. Maybe you didn't know that. And I knew you love animals, so I wanted to show you my new puppy. Isn't she cute? I'm going to show you a lot of things that I probably shouldn't. This couch right here is actually really ugly. Blue and yellow. Who would do that? Okay, another thing I want to show you. Beautiful New York skyline. Not real. We're not in New York. We're in Burbank. Stairs, come on. Stairs lead to nowhere. Look, you can sit on the craft service table if you want. We do that sometimes. We do a lot of TV watching on the show, and it's our favorite program. Nothing. It's all make-believe. Okay, so that was 5 things that you didn't know about What I Like About You. Thanks for coming. I hope you guys love the show this season. It's going to be a great year, and Roxy and I are going to go hang out on the ugly couch. Bye. Ow, it's hard. It's not even comfortable.
Big. Bottom. You're so Amish.
All right, Amanda. Are you dating?
I don't want to talk about boys.
Yes, you do.
I'm a little boy crazy.
Yeah, a little. So you should be. You're
Jenny, what about you?
17, gorgeous.
I like boys. We like boys. I have plenty of crushes.
Yeah. You do?
On boys, yes.
And in the show coming up, you've got like a little love triangle going on.
Well, Jenny, no. Yeah, that would be kind of creepy. Jenny and I like the same dude.
Stop?
Yeah, like they're supposed to be sisters, are they not? So that would be kind of weird. That'd be creepy for sure. To see your comment about Nick. See? I don't know. I must have missed it. I apologize. What about it? Been putting protein powder in this cracked corn. What? Oh man. Jesus, okay.
Can you imagine? Well, on the show, I'm dating this guy named Henry, and he's a sweet, guy, Michael McMillan, but he's kind of nerdy. And then a new guy comes in, Nick Zano, and he's sort of like a cool, edgy. And so my character kind of has to decide between the two. So it's a little love triangle. And,
it spices it up a bit,
doesn't it? And I think that's real life. You're always like meeting new people, and it's always sort of so.
Yeah, I mean, if you're anything like Kelly, she changes men like she changes her hair color.
Oh, that's not very nice to say about your own daughter. I guess so, kind of. She did on the Osborne show. There was a lot going on there, but that's how I got onto that show because Burt McCracken from The Used dated Kelly Osbourne for a bit, and I liked that band when I was younger. And yeah, he was on the show for a couple episodes, and then I ended up watching the show after that for a bit, because it was just, you know, you get sucked in eventually. But yeah, that was like the dawn of reality television, definitely.
And it's always, oh no, I love this one. I really, really love him.
Yeah.
And then the next week I'm like, well, how's Andy? And she goes, who?
That's cute.
But that's the way it should be at your age.
It's fun. It definitely is fun to have crushes.
So I heard that you have a little crush on my guest who's going to be here tomorrow.
I do. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's Robin Thicke. He's Alan Thicke's son. I saw him perform, and
Oh shit, that's kind of funny. Wow, he came a long way, didn't he?
Okay. Is that him? Yes, that's a bad picture, though. That is a bad picture of him.
He has short hair and literally, stop laughing. She's laughing at my crush. He's so cute. Oh,
I hear this all day, every day. I'm sorry.
Not about Thicke, about various.
No, various. The guy over there. I mean, how do you know? The guy over there.
No, I'm not crazy.
Oh, no, you're not. You're just healthy.
Yeah.
18. Yeah. Jenny, did you find it hard doing comedy for the first time?
I came from such a really dramatic background of 90210, and so I'd never gotten to do comedy in front of a live audience.
Oh, she was on 90210 also? I didn't even realize that. That's why you brought that up. Cut to his 2013 VMA performances with Miley. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, Hunter. Did the interview with E.T. Send it to you? Yeah, alright. Send it to me on Twitter or whatever. Undiscovered Robin Thicke. Oh, it was back in the day, but yeah, it was funny. That was funny. I'm glad we could all enjoy that together.
But I always feel really comfortable in front of a live audience for some reason, and I knew that I'm kind of just a goofy person in real life and very clumsy and
She's
crazy.
so funny.
So it came really naturally to me, and I've
it looks so natural, and your timing is always spot on.
great.
It just seems that if you don't have to try.
It's very natural, and it's
good.
very we go to work and we have fun. Instead of going to work and getting shot and stalked and poisoned, whatever. So I'm having a great time.
Well, we're having a good time looking at you guys.
Oh,
you make us all very happy.
Sharon Osbourne's so nice here. I wonder, that had to be just, she was putting on such an act. Maybe that's why the show didn't last, because there's no way she could have stayed that nice all the time. That's why they gave her a little puppy. Just be nice, Sharon. Just pet the little dog. Just stay calm and be nice, because she's, a lot more edgier than that. That's for damn sure. I think this is the nicest I've ever heard Sharon Osbourne be, ever. Not that I know much of her, aside from, watching the Osbournes or whatever, but... oh, Lord.
In the series coming up, are there many changes in the show?
It's spiced up a little, I think, this year. The network really wanted the show to look hip and sort of New Yorky and cutting edge. Amanda's older this year, so they've sort of just kind of upped it.
Mature.
It's grown up.
It's just better. I think that this year, the first year we kind of were figuring out what the show is about, and this year we just figured out that it's a show about sisters and relationships and friendships and breaking up with boys and everything, life.
Right. It's so fun, though, because you get to see these two girls who are... I'm the older sister and she's the younger sister, but you really get to see us interacting sort of more like friends and buddies rather than sisters and sometimes mother-daughter, So, but it's weird because in real life I'm so protective of her, and on the show my character,
so it comes
it's just
naturally.
so natural. It's weird. It's like we're not even acting.
She needed more of that in her life. Definitely needed more of that in her life, and oh man, feels like this is where she kind of was hitting the peak of things were still going pretty good, but she was just not prepared. She was not prepared for adulthood and to be able to what are you talking about, dude? Ozzy Osbourne.
I know.
It's like when I was introducing you two, I was saying it's like my daughters and I like to watch, and I always say, why can't you be like that? Because they're like this the whole time. They're like kittens in a blanket,
which I don't know if I saw that. Hold on, let me look this up real quick. From 2022, June 2022. I did a quick little type and search here. For the blind items, because I kind of read those here and there, but like obviously you can only put so much, you know, emphasis or focus on that because it is just, you know, speculation really. Another blogger speculating or whatever. You can't really say for sure one way or the other, but she told us she told us Okay. Interesting. So, it's like they're kind of like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. That's definitely like, well, it kind of just seems like that would be the case though anyways in some ways, like having to jump through hoops to be able to get access because yeah, her conservatorship of her person was removed, but the conservatorship of her estate was not, or I think that's how that went. So she's having to go through these hoops and have this certain level of whatever, I'm guessing, but she's not having a control of how it's spent or where she's being able to go. Like one of her videos she had put out was not wanting to spend all that money on this specific facility or whatever. Like I don't think she has a choice on those matters. I'm not sure. Like again, speculation, just based on what we do know.
TV series What I Like About You. Now she is starring in a movie called Sydney White, which opens this Friday, September 21st. Please welcome Amanda Bynes. You look beautiful.
Thank you. You look handsome yourself.
Well, you were like a kid when you first came here. Now you're what? You just turned 21, right?
21, yep. I just turned
Congratulations. 21. So what'd you do? Go crazy, big party? What happened?
Yes, I went crazy. No, I actually didn't. I was doing Sydney White in Orlando, and I partied with my peeps, you know, on set.
Right, just kind of a little peep party.
Just a little peep, you know, the candies.
Disney characters?
No, we just we worked. It was really fun.
Okay, now I know you.
That's kind of weird now. It's like she's like the opposite age. She was 12 or whatever when she was doing that interview with Howie Mandel in the beginning now, and then now she's 21 and he's over here and he's bald now, and oh, how times change. Green Goblins. Yeah, I have no idea what you guys are talking. Oh, I don't know. I think I missed that one. I don't know. Mentions there. Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out after.
Your parents are in the audience, right?
Yes, my mom, Lynn, and my dad, Rick, are in the audience. I don't know where, but they're somewhere.
Now, do you call them mom and dad? Do you call them Rick?
Oh, I call them mom and dad generally. Yeah. But right now, I just wanted the audience to know their names.
Right. See, that's like a California thing. When I grew up, it was always like the people across the street was like father and mother, and I was like mom and dad. It wasn't until I came here when then people go, this is Bob, my dad.
Oh, no, I don't do that, though. I think that's weird. Yeah, I call my dad Fa. And my mom, like, you know, I have all sorts of names for her. Marvel, Marsupial.
Marsupial?
But not in a weird way, just...
What? I have no idea. That's weird. And it's kind of weird that she's, like, there. I don't know why they're in the audience. She's trying to be out doing her adult thing and, like, still has them, like, right there. Because dad is the star after all. Yeah, it's like, I gotta make sure I'm right here for it. I think this is where they talk about how he'd sent in all these jokes and none of them ever made it, but one joke made it on or whatever at one point, and I don't know. I think this might be the interview. I can't say for sure. We're about to find out.
I have all these different variations of mom and dad.
Right. Now, this is something interesting. Your dad once wrote me a joke, and I sent him a check.
Yeah, in 93,
Oh, yeah, literally right here. Right here.
93, I was 7. My dad, actually, who was a dentist for a long time, submitted a joke to you, and you actually told it on the air. My dad taped it.
Yeah, so he had to make sure to find the way to get in and on it and get in on it because she's gonna be on the show. And yeah, okay, yeah. This all makes sense.
To tape it, and my dad has the check.
I sent him a check for $50 for the. Where is Dad? Dad, where are you? Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Dad, you remember the joke? John, get a mic. Go over there, John. Hey, Dad.
finally getting his moment in the spotlight. Get out of the way, guys. It's Rick Bynes' moment. Big moment. Okay, hold on. I'll go back a bit here. Hold on. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Dad?
Hi, Dad.
Dad, you remember the joke? John, get a mic. Go over there. John. Hey, Dad. Dad, you remember the joke, right?
Yeah, it's the only one I ever sold. So.
All right. Why don't you tell the joke, and we'll judge if it was worth $50.
Okay.
John,
somebody in Los Angeles came up with a good idea.
Yeah.
They decided to put the automatic teller machine into the lobby of a police station. So now when you get robbed, you don't have to wait around all day for the cops to show up.
Yeah, that's like a pity clap for sure. Everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah, good, way to go, dentist guy. Yeah, you happy? You got your fucking, yeah. Oh my God.
I thought that was a funny joke.
So you pretty much retired on that.
Yeah.
And you've been living
That
off...
was my plan.
Yeah, even she's trying to vouch for him, like, yeah, see, nobody really gave a great response, but I think it's funny, Dad, don't worry. I think it's a funny joke, it's okay.
Been living off the interest of that all these years.
I sent you 200 more the next day.
I know.
And none ever made the air.
Yeah, I think they didn't quite. They probably didn't reach me in time. Well, thank you very much. You can actually cash this check, actually, pretty much. Yeah. Let me ask you now, they seem pretty easygoing. Were your folks strict when you were growing up?
They actually were very strict.
Yeah.
In a good way, though. My parents never let me go to the mall alone or with friends. I had to go with my parents.
Oh, with friends? You couldn't even go with friends?
I couldn't even go with friends. I think it was because, you know, shady...
Like, I wasn't allowed to go to the mall, like, alone or with friends. I just had them all the time. Like, so this is, like, definitely showing the extreme of, like, the helicopter parenting can be, like, just as bad as having no parenting, if not worse in some ways. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is very much highlighting that for us in a big way. That really, like, everything on paper could seem great, but still be something really objectively and fundamentally wrong with the dynamic of the parental-child-parent relationship. Like, she's 21 and she can't even go on a talk show without them being, like, front row staring her right in the face. Like, what are you gonna say about us? What are you gonna tell them? Make sure to mention my jokes, because there was a time he got my joke and,
things happen in malls.
Right.
So I wasn't allowed to go. So I did have very strict parents. But as you can see, that's where I got my love of comedy from.
I mean, that's fair. That's also fair. But she could have had a security team or something. Like, they definitely had enough money. She could have had bodyguards and stuff protecting her through all that paparazzi shit. But who was in charge of that? You know, again, where, like, I don't think anyone really was her management team. It really was just, like, the dad decided stuff, and that was that. No one was protecting her. And that, too. Exactly, Jamie.
My funny dad, so,
right.
And my beautiful mom.
And how long have they been married?
40 years. They just celebrated their 40...
Wow, 40 years. Wow, that's pretty good. Now, have you got a boyfriend?
I do not.
You do not?
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I don't have I have a wife, actually. That's all.
How long have you...
You can tell she's gotten sick of that friggin' question. Like, excuse me, sir. Yeah, you're fucking how old? And you have a wife. Great. Awesome. Good question. Moving on.
You've been married.
I've been married.
Yeah, cute guys there?
I've been married.
That's where you
find 27 years.
Congratulations.
27 years. Yeah, now, now, of course, that would end very quickly if I suddenly got a girlfriend. But that would
I think that would be odd
yeah.
and uncomfortable.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, why?
Yeah. Oh, did you see that face she made? That was pretty much her trying to say, like, this is odd and uncomfortable that you're even asking me this question. Do you feel odd and uncomfortable now? And especially, like, with her parents sitting there. You know, and in the one interview before, she was saying how her sister's not allowed to date till she's 35. Like, literally, like, trying to point out how strict and, like, you know, extra it is. And then this guy, he's fucking Jay Leno, man. He's, like, what, 50 here? And you got a wife and you're asking her. Like, couldn't wait till she turned, like, she just turned 21 and you want to ask her, you know?
Get very uncomfortable with that.
Yeah, a little
My wife
weirded
is
out.
very old-fashioned that way.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about the movie.
Sydney White
Yeah.
is a modern version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Instead of dwarfs, they're seven dorks. So I'm in college, and I basically get kicked out of the sorority because I'm not cool enough, and I sort of move into this vortex type of living environment with these seven dorky guys, and it was a great experience. Joe Nussbaum directed it, great director, and it was a really fun experience, and I hope you guys like it. It comes out this Friday.
I think I remember seeing a cable version or something.
She's like, yeah, like, come on, let's talk about the movie. We don't need to talk about my love life here, buddy guy. Anyway, we like blew past the 3-hour mark here, so let's take a quick couple-minute break here, and then we're just about at the end of this presentation here. Holy crap, definitely took longer than I expected it would, but that's okay. We're having a good discussion as we go, and that's the whole point. So that is a good thing. But yeah, let's take another quick break here. I gotta refill this coffee and just take a minute and stretch my own legs, so you guys probably could use the same. Quick little break. And then yeah, we will come right back. And we're back. Chatty's here tonight. Fun discussion. Yeah. All good in the hood. Successful in how your daughter realized that dream out. It's the kind of situation. Yeah. Yeah, like living vicariously through through their children. That's the issue. For sure. Alright, let's get back into her. 'Cause it's getting late. No time to wait. Alrighty, here we go. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? There it is. Just realized that thing was whatevering the whole time. That's alright. That's fine. There we go.
Like this once, but that's a whole different. That's a whole different. Now you play a comic book collector.
Oh, you mean like a dirty cable version?
No, I'm just being silly.
I don't know anything about that.
No, of course not. You didn't expect it. No, but you play a comic book collector?
No, yes, I do actually, and I am a comic book collector in real life.
Really?
I have like 400 Archie comics.
Oh, Archie, they still have Archie. You know, I used to read those when I was a kid.
Yeah?
But I used to collect comics too, and I would come home. Well, Batman, Archie, Superman. But when I remember coming home from school, and the pile would get shorter and shorter.
What was happening to them?
I don't know. My mother was secretly throwing them away. But
my mom didn't do that. She supported my fetish.
See,
definitely.
Yeah,
when I had chicken pox when I was really young,
yeah.
I think I was like 8 or 9, or maybe 10 or 11. I don't really remember when. But my mom got me a huge book. It was like the 40th anniversary of Archie's, and I was a total nerd. I remember.
Archie comics are actually pretty good back in the day. They sort of destroyed it with that Riverdale show. I don't know. I could not get into that. I felt like it was not. It was a perverted version. They perverted it too much.
There's photos of me with all my chicken pox, and I'm so excited because I'm reading this huge, Archie book.
How much is an Archie comic now? They were 12 cents when I was a kid.
They're like $2 for like the, digest. They're kind of expensive
That
now.
was the annual. That was the subscription when I was a kid.
It's
wow,
prices
$2.
these days.
All right. We have a clip of the film here. Let's
Yes,
see.
I think so.
What is the scene we're going to see here? This is
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. This is.
That's me.
This is you in the dorm.
Yes.
Okay.
As a Snow White type character.
And what's
Sydney
happening here?
White.
You're addressing the dorks?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's like a pressure cooker of damage waiting to happen.
Here I am. I'm talking to the dorks because I want them to run for student council because of the Greeks. They always do everything, so I want the dorks to sort of rule.
Okay, here we go. Take a look.
Please don't give up. Did the Avengers give up when the Black Knight sprayed New York with that foam that left everybody stuck to the ground? No!
No.
With the help of a criminal glue specialist, they freed everyone! I'm your criminal glue specialist! Yeah! Yeah! Now, who's running for president?
Not it.
Not it. Not it. Not it.
Not it.
Yeah, Sydney White. It opens on this Friday on the 21st. Amanda, thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Dad. Be right back with Emmylou Harris right after I am a big fan of this woman. She's a 12-time.
That was a weird cut. Sorry, guys. Shit happens.
Back with Amanda Bynes, very personable young lady. You seem very sharp. Do you still go to school? How does
I
that
do.
work?
Yeah, I'm in 11th grade.
11th grade. And how does that work? Are you in a private school or
I do tutoring on the set, and then when I'm done, I go back to regular school. So.
regular school being
Yes.
a public school or?
Yeah, a private school.
This one might be out of order, too. This one might be, she was a little younger here, I think, than the one just before this. So I think it's a little out of place, too. I apologize, but it is what it is. We're semi-chronological order here. Hey, Simone, you made it. What's going on? Haven't seen you around in a little bit. How we doing?
Private school, okay, yeah. And how does that work for you? Do your classmates miss you when you're not there? Or?
I
I hope so.
Or are you on the cheerleading squad, or do you have all that kind of stuff?
No, I'm not, because I'm always gone.
Yeah.
But I have, a great group of friends that go
Right.
there, so.
Are there other actresses and actors that go to that private school?
There aren't.
You're the only one?
I'm the only one.
Yeah. And what
Sad,
kind of what kind of grades do you get?
I do well. I get straight A's.
Oh, you get straight A's. Well,
What is she gonna say? Come on now.
how does that work? Is college in your future? You're gonna
Definitely, I want to go,
Yeah.
but I just don't know where. I'm thinking maybe USC.
Yeah.
I don't know. No. Nobody likes USC.
Or maybe UCLA.
Yeah, well that's it, right? But that's why we discuss and analyze these things, because there's always a lot more going on than what's just on the surface, right? She definitely could have thrived at this time. Absolutely. And she was. She kind of was. She was hitting like a good peak at this time. Trying to better understand your own parents and their actions. Yeah, man. Definitely. Definitely. You gotta give it, everybody has a story, right? Yeah. That's why they put them there at the checkout. They knew that's how they could get kids to buy, to convince their parents to buy them. They're standing there staring at it.
You want to know something funny? Last night we had Chris Webber on the show, and the crowd was filled with Sacramento Kings fans, and there were like 2 Laker fans. You never know who's going to show up at the show here,
I see.
But you're a good student, and let's put it to a test with 5 questions.
No.
Here we go. Geography, human geography, we'll call it anatomy. Your dad, I believe, is a dentist. Is that correct? Okay. Point to where your lateral incisors are. Do you know where they are? Your lateral incisors?
I don't know.
Go ahead, you're getting close.
This is weird. I think we're just gonna skip ahead in this.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, make me feel old right now. What TV show starred Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd? No help from the audience. You remember that? Do you remember that?
What?
No help from the audience.
Yeah, this is all awkward.
Moonlighting. Yeah, incorrect.
Yes. Why? How is she gonna know that? I don't fucking know
You were
what the
born
hell.
in 1986. Which of the following songs was not a hit that year? Party All the Time, Eddie Murphy. Kiss by Prince. Straight Up, Paul Abdul. Or You Give Love a Bad Name, Bon Jovi.
Straight up, Paul Abdul.
That is correct.
Wow, good for her. I'm fucking. How is she? I don't know how we would expect her to know that, but it's good that she did know that.
Because I love that song, and I knew that had, I think it came out after.
That is correct. See? There's your answer right there.
Awesome.
You are under 21. What's better, orange juice or apple juice?
Okay, that's so freaking weird. Yeah, and obviously, yes, she wasn't 21 yet, but what the heck, man? Who is this guy? What show is this?
Isn't this like a personal opinion?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's better?
Orange juice.
No, apple juice.
So I get that wrong.
Finally, 10 seconds on the clock. I'm going to put you on the spot, young lady.
Uh-oh.
Name 5 words that don't rhyme with spot in 10 seconds. Are you ready?
Okay.
Go.
Shoe, canoe, basketball, baseball, and picture. I don't know.
Yes!
What the hell? That was so fucking like a waste of her goddamn time. Oh, and then we have another bit with Jay Leno here. Oh, shit. And then Jim Carrey. I don't know if he behaves himself here. I think this was like a bit of a questionable interview that he partook in. He's just kind of here. For some reason, they always got them like lined up like
Yeah, my dad's a dentist.
in queue here. And then the guy just sitting there the whole time, like Howie Mandel, the last interview there, and he was just kind of sitting there for the whole thing. Yeah, like, don't touch people like that. Like, why are you touching her? It's fucking weird, too.
And Mom, is she in show business?
No, she works with my dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was all your idea. You wanted to be in show business.
Yeah, I used to watch my brother and my sister. They were in plays, and I just liked to perform, and so that's how it happened.
And you were raised right here in Los Angeles?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
So that story also kind of changed over time about how it all started. Like, yeah, I wanted to do it. I did plays, and then I did it, and that's not exactly how it went, but all right.
Could you remember sending me an audition tape when you were like, I think 7?
actually did. I never got a call back. So,
I just got a chance to look at the tape like last week. You know, we get so many tapes, and I just saw it like last week, and I went, hey, she's on.
Yeah, that was.
This might have been a younger one, too. I think I got them a little mixed up here at the end, but I wanted to make sure everything was done and together for you in time. But either way, yeah, you guys can follow. I know you guys are smart cookies.
It's funny. I never sent a tape to anyone else.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I sent one to you.
Well, let's show people. This is the tape you sent me when you were 7. Take a look.
Hello, Mr.
You mean the dad sent in the tape because none of his jokes were hitting yet?
Lana, this is Amanda. I sure hope you liked my act. What? Oh, sure, I'll hold.
I think you know why you never got a call back.
I think I know why, too. Yeah, so...
Well, you know what's interesting? I found out you went to, I was reading about, you went to comedy camp? Or that's...
Yeah, it's like very soul-sucking, definitely. Very repetitive.
So you got to,
Yeah.
what's comedy camp?
It's at the Laugh Factory. It was just basically like kids, you know, telling jokes, and comedians would come, like Arsenio Hall, Jay Moore, Richard Pryor. I got to meet once. So it was just,
they would come to this comedy camp?
yeah, once a week, and they would just sort of critique your act, and it was fun.
So what kind of advice did they give you? What kind of advice?
I don't even remember. Like once in my act, I would spray my mouth with Banaka, and like I actually brought Banaka, and I think Jay Moore said, you know, just pretend you don't have to actually bring Banaka.
Have to bring
with
the
you.
Banaka.
Like I had all these props, like, and I was fumbling, so yeah.
So how old were you, like 7 or 8?
Yeah, I was actually 10 when I did that, and that was when I was noticed for All That, and that was a show I did.
This wasn't sleepover camp or anything?
No, you just went once a week. It was fun. It was just basically, you know, a way to, you know, tell jokes, meet friends, and stuff
Jim,
like
what
that.
advice?
Have a really sick mom to go to that camp?
No.
Oh.
Like stage moms, you mean?
Yeah, no, sick, really sick, mentally ill.
No.
Like depraved in some way.
I'm not sure I'd want
I
Jay
would,
Moore
see, if
talking
I had
to
a comedy camp, that would be a prerequisite.
He's kind of calling it out, though. Like, so your mom is kind of depraved, eh? Like, you got fucked up parents if they're sending you to that kind of camp, though. It's just, like, really, like, with, like, comedians and shit and the kind of clubs and stuff going on in those places. Like, it is meant for adults. It's not really kid-friendly, and, like, who was there supervising the kids? Not to say that Eddie Murphy or Arsenio Hall or any of these people did anything wrong, but, like, just seems like, yeah, kind of more of the twisted kind of camp to send a 10-year-old to in such a way.
No one gets in without the sick mom.
Yeah. And would you want a bunch of sleazy comics talking to your daughter? I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, but there was like.
So maybe that's where this was a little weird. It's not even that it's weird, it's because he was calling it out, like, in such a way. I don't know. The title of the thing was, like, different than what he's actually saying here, so I'm almost kind of getting on his team here, because, like, yeah, all these sleazy comedians and, like, all drinking and doing drugs and whatever, and then they got these 10-year-olds, and they're like, yeah, so comedy. You know?
25 kids and, like, parents. It was like a friendly family thing. It wasn't like...
Okay, so they had parents. There were parents there, at least.
Jim, if you had gone to the camp, what advice would you have given young Amanda?
Father McMurphy would have said to the children, "Now, kids, come around, sit, grab my hem. I have something to tell you. A little story. It's interactive."
Yeah, no, he's definitely calling it out big time. Like, no, all right, yeah, even with the parents there and everything, that he's like, yeah, no, there's something weird here. Oh, fuck. Jim Carrey and all his stuff, all his situation. He's got a story, too.
God.
No, I don't know. That's, you know, yeah. I would be a danger to the children, for sure.
It's a good thing you weren't there then.
Yes, yes.
But you got your own show at 13.
Yeah.
That was now, did you get discovered at comedy camp?
Yeah, that's like where I got
And an actual
discovered.
talent scout actually went to the camp.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oddly enough. Yeah, and then I just started doing the show, and it was fun. I played different characters, and then...
And you just sketch comedy?
Yeah, notice how over the years they definitely, like, let go of it being the producers at Nickelodeon. It let go of even saying Nickelodeon. Let go of... She stopped talking about Schneider altogether, like, time ago, like, a few years before this. Like, she just stopped mentioning them by name. So, you know, wonder if there's, like, a... you know, if it was by suggestion, like, if she had to stop talking about them whatsoever, or if there's another reason?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just started, doing that, and I like to perform, and then I did Big Fat Liar, and then I did What a Girl Wants. And then What I Like About You, which is the show I'm doing now with Jenny Garth.
So did you do a lot of physical comedy?
Yeah, I did. Sort of just falling around and doing all that. I was actually always a big fan of you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, who isn't, though? Yeah, so I'm having a good time. I like to do it, and I'm, enjoying myself. So.
Yeah. I mean, did you ever get hurt?
So what kind of a fan? No, go ahead. Continue.
Okay, Jim Carrey, you fucking behave yourself, sir. What the fuck? You just sit down, move over, lean away. Coach Carter over here.
Get back into my vortex.
Yeah, I actually did get hurt. There's this one scene that I did with Kenan Thompson, and we had ping pong paddles, and we were supposed to hit each other in the head in the scene, and through the magic of television, we were supposed to switch voices, but during rehearsal, I actually hit myself in the face with it and cut my lip open, and it was like gushing blood, and I had to have stitches, and actually couldn't do the scene, so.
That's his act. That's your act, hitting yourself. Yeah.
That's nice, Jim.
All right. Anyway, the picture is What a Girl Wants.
Camp.
Like, I don't know how much of it's joking and not joking, but he's a comedian, so there's some elements of humor here, but at the same time, what are you saying, Desert Storm? You don't gotta go to war to get PTSD. That's for damn sure.
It's in theaters now. What a Girl Wants. Amanda, thank you very much. Thank you, Amanda. Amanda Bynes. Be right back with Tim McGraw right after this. There you have it.
Fucking Jim Carrey, man. What the hell? Other guests talk during taking the attention away. Well, sometimes it's like they get brought into the discussion too, but yeah. Yeah, like PTSD isn't just war related. Some people's childhood was a war zone or a battlefield, or there was casualties and collateral damage along the way. Complex trauma can be just as damaging, if not more, because of the severity and how prolonged it is than some of that. There's different layers of it, so many different layers, and it's not just war. People fight wars, all kinds of their own wars, internal wars, family wars, generational curse wars, emotionally violent wars, psychological, physical, sexual, exactly.
Alrighty. My next guest, Grammy-winning singer. He'll be at the Staples Center in Los Angeles tomorrow night, and he'll be at the Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim on Saturday.
Lost control of the class. Okay. Yeah,
and you must feel like you've been doing this forever, but you're still so young. Are there things? I mean, 19 is a strange age because you're mature, you're growing up, but there are still things that you probably want to do that kids do, like Halloween. Would you still go out on Halloween?
Of course.
You would. Okay.
Yeah, it's just different because I actually have a team of professional hair and makeup people who actually turn me into Cher for the show, or it's like.
You can use the people you work with on the show and say, hey, make me something for Halloween.
But it just sort of cheapens it when I have to do it on my own, because then it's sort of like, oh, I mean, I sort of just want to go as like myself, you know, wearing like a sweatshirt. It's just sort of.
What about the thing that like a lot of us did? Well, I'm going to say a lot of us, and probably no one's going to agree with me, but I would get like a refrigerator box and just put dials on it and say I was a robot, you know?
Yeah,
I'm a robot. Wow, no one's with me on that one.
No, but one thing I've noticed is as you get older, like a lot of my friends, are always sort of like the slutty stewardess or slutty nurse. And it's just so interesting. People are clapping. They're like, that's great.
Let me explain what kind of crowds we get here. Some people act all slutty on Halloween. Yeah!
No, but it's so interesting how when you're a kid, you're sort of always like the Girl Scout or, you know, whatever.
Right.
And as you get older, everybody sort of wants to instantly slut it up.
Right.
And it's sort of nice to actually go as something sort of funny or whatever. I don't know, but do you have any tips?
I never went out as a...
You know, it comes in all kinds of different flavors, and it's all the more reason to finish fighting the battles with generational curses and childhood trauma before getting into relationships and trying to find love, because a lot of us, you know, we end up recreating some traumas in some ways, or we're just having, you know, we got triggers from childhood or different things come up in relationships that things go south or can be toxic or dysfunctional or it just doesn't turn out how you hoped, and that's just what it is, man. Everybody's fighting their own battle. Everybody's got their own battlefield. Some people, you know, there's addictions and different things too that get in the way. There's different toxic family dynamics that can get in the way. And all the more reason to bring more awareness to the different traumas and the different stresses and things that parents and families and friends and society in general can cause to one another, and then how those things pan out, how the effects of those things, the symptoms of those things. Like addiction is a symptom of trauma, really. Like it's people that are compulsively wanting to try and escape their own selves, their own brains, there's a reason for that. It's not because they have a disease. Addiction isn't a disease like that. It's not like, oh, you have addiction, so now you can't control yourself. No, it's because you got something rotten in your mind that's decomposing, and it's been pushed under the rug and ignored by their family or by society or by whatever. Or, you know, they even went to police and nothing was done about it, and it's something that's just they're dealing with that and the haunting of and the demons of that. And some people struggle to cope with that, and they struggle to be able to sit with that and deal with it in a healthy way, and they end up turning to drugs or, you know, even shopping, gambling, different things like that. Prawn. There's all kinds of ways people will try to escape themselves, and that's why we got to bring more awareness to the whole thing, and as a society learn to heal better from traumas, so we're not recreating generational curses and passing it on down the line. And you know, people need to learn better coping mechanisms and know what, you know, there needs to be more emphasis on that, on our emotional and mental, physical well-being as youth versus like fucking algebra and shit. Kept telling us we're not going to have a fucking calculator in our pocket forever and all this crap. And how many hours was wasted learning all this fucking dumb shit that I still have never, ever used the Pythagorean theorem one time. Never, ever one time. Waste of my fucking time. Filler waste of my time. How about you teach me not to want to go drink about it when I'm not feeling great about shit, because all of society is saying we should just go drink about it, and everybody on the weekend goes and drinks about it, and everybody, you know, or they watch their mom pop pills, or they watch this, or they watch that, and that's the answer to their fucking problems. Like, that's not it, you know? But anyways, let's get through this last 5 minutes here, and we can close it off for the evening. But it's good, I guess, but at least once a week we get a good few hours stream in and catch everybody up, tide everybody over while we're not doing the usual type streams here. Still get on some good rants.
Slutty. Well, I was one year. Good. 1 year I was the naughty librarian. I got a lot of candy that year. Now you're living in your own apartment now.
Yes.
On your own. Do you cook? Are you a good cook?
No, I'm not so good. Yeah. I mean, I love cereal because, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know, I'm curious about that. What kind of cereal do you like?
I love all sorts of cereal. But,
do you like the really? I mean, I'm asking. I'm interested because I can't cook at all, and the whole time I was single, I just lived off of things like Frankenberry and Fruit Loops, anything that turns the milk a weird color.
Like chocolatey or whatever. Well, my dad's actually a dentist, so I was not allowed sugar cereal as a child. So my sister's 21 and actually studying to be a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Hi, Jillian! I love my sister. Anyway.
Well, there's your answer to that. Definitely was not allowed candy, so that was the incentive there for sure.
Hi.
Conan says hi, too.
Hi, how are you?
That was kind of awkward.
No, not at all. The thing about this show is you can point it out and we all move on.
Nobody ever does that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, long story short, we always talk about the fact that you can't stop with cereal, that it never stops tasting good.
No.
And so it's like you kind of have to end up going through half the box and you're like, what the? You're like watching like Survivor or something. You're like,
How did I wasn't
Here's
even
the thing
hungry.
that people do. Here's the thing that people do. You pour yourself a bowl of, like, I'm just going to say Count Chocula,
Okay.
an amazing cereal
Just
based
for
on a
example.
vampire. And you pour it into a bowl, and then you pour some milk, and then you get to the bottom, there's a little bit of milk left, and you're like, I think I need some more
Yes.
Count Chocula. So you
don't
put
wanna
that in,
waste.
but then you need a little more milk, but then you need a little more Count
No, I
Chocula.
know.
9 boxes later.
It's a vicious cycle.
That's true. This is all true.
It's the most vicious cycle of all.
Now, I don't want to get too personal, but you're dating now. What is it you're looking for in a guy? There might be a guy watching right now.
Oh.
A lot of guys really love you. What are you looking for in a fella?
I think what any girl, you know, like the typical line is you want somebody who's, you know, funny, but honestly, I just want someone who's passionate about something. It's just, nothing's like more interesting than finding somebody who is really good at something or loves something like music.
Just as long as they're
or,
passionate about something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just sort of has, you know, like a major passion.
Yeah. Hey, just going, yeah, it doesn't count as passion.
You guys sort of
I'll show her passion. Yeah. Yeah. I admire the guy for trying.
Yeah, good for you.
Or a deep-voiced girl.
Either
No,
one.
but I think that is
open.
probably true. Like, women like a guy who's just passionate about something instead of
it's so
just
true.
whatever, man.
No, and it's so interesting because, you know, it always seems like actors never really work out because I think at the end of the day when you're, you know, sitting next to each other, you sort of want to have somebody, it's like, you know, how was your day? And if you sort of like have the same sort of life, it's sort of boring, and I think you sort of are, without subconsciously, I think you're looking for something.
I agree with that. I think it's good to be with someone or be married to someone eventually who does something completely different from.
Well, and then again here, Ari, like she's young still here. I don't think she's even this one's backwards a bit, and she's not even 21 here too. And again, like but again, they're probably told what to ask. Like they're given the cue cards, you know, right? So it's like why we ask these kind of questions? Like what the fuck?
What you do. My wife is a rocket scientist.
Well,
yeah.
Yes.
She's smart, I'm dumb, and it just works out. Yeah.
Sort of works.
Well, now, what I like about you airs Friday nights.
At 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock on the WB.
Yes, I did a movie this summer called She's the Man with DreamWorks, and that's coming out next year, so I hope you all like that.
Great.
And I'm excited about it, so.
Oh, cool. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we've wanted you to be on the show for a long time, so
Well,
thanks for
I'm a
doing
big
it.
fan, so
Cool.
thank you.
Amanda Bynes. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Judd Hale is here, so stick around.
I think that's pretty much it. It just oh, there's like one more little clip at the end here. All right.
Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we've wanted you to be on the show for a long time, so thanks for doing it. Cool. Amanda Bynes. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Judd Hale is here, so stick around.
So, yeah. Well, that's it. It's just like that, yeah, but the incentive, you know, like, it could be anything. It's like, well, we're going to take our kid to fucking McDonald's after, or, oh, we're going to take our kid for ice cream, or, oh, we're going to take our kid for whatever. If they do the thing, there'll be an incentive, and really, like, yeah, that kind of thing. And then diminishing returns, like, we could go way into that, but that's not for today. This is the last little clip. It's like a minute, and then we're going to close her down for the evening.
In addition to the sideburns and eyebrows, which are very uncomfortable because they're glued onto like the bare skin, I'm wearing binding, like an ace bandage, but it's made well, and there's like.
Oh yeah, I meant to put that in earlier of like where she was talking about the body dysmorphia stuff. I guess we almost don't even need to. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much. I don't even gotta go into the whole thing. But yeah, when she first started getting uncomfortable with her body and in the movies, and it's all started first going downhill. But I think we pretty much covered all that, so we don't really need to run through that again. Yeah, fair enough, Jamie. That's true. Yeah, talk about it. Like, yeah, she like kept advertising it basically for him in such a way. That's very true. Oh well, that was a good little dive through the ages there, through Amanda's shiniest of times, and yeah, I think we all can appreciate what she's gone through and have a little more understanding at this point, and hopefully she can get that spark back, and hopefully with whatever she's doing right now is that she's healing and finding herself and, you know, reconciling with whatever things that she's still battling within herself, so that, you know, she can be getting on with her life. You know, I think she's given up enough of her own life and paid the price enough in a way that she deserves to be able to live the remainder of her adult life, however she so chooses. And again, like I said earlier, if that was going to be not doing and never being on film again, never being on television again, that's totally fine. If she's going to go into fashion, she want to go into whatever she wants to do, man, I think she needs to go do that. Whatever she feels that's going to be what makes her happy, and whether it makes everybody a ton of money or not, that's fucking her business, man. If she don't want to make everyone money anymore and she wants to break out of that typecast or that's whatever stereotype of whatever kind of parts she was getting, these goofy comedian parts, you know, like, and I don't know, whatever. She just didn't want to do what she was doing anymore, it seems like. So hopefully she can start doing more of what she does want to do, and we can see her on the other side, whatever that's gonna look like for her. Amanda Lobsters as a send-off. I don't know what that is, and what? Is it like a skit? At this point, dude, it's been like 4 hours. Maybe on a next one or something. Or everybody can go look up the Amanda Lobsters if they want on their own. Because this was like pre-prepared, and I'm starting to fade here and getting a little hungry. And I got some other shit I gotta do over here, so here's to Amanda's Lobsters. Whatever that means. So thanks for pooping in. Yeah, we got some new folk. We had some new folks in here. The Dancing Lobster. I don't know about that. I'm sorry. And we don't want to play too much different certain content. I don't know if that would be if it's like a very popular thing. It would probably be copyrighted or something. Like, we definitely want to try to avoid playing certain things and getting YouTube spanked. Okay. Goodbye. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one. But yeah, have a good night, everybody else. Also, 420, glad to see you around. It's been a minute. Jamie, I'm glad you made it in too and stuck around this time. Twiley, if you're still here. Siobhan, if you're still here. Chatty Kathy, Jackie, Simone, if you're still here. Whoever else is still lurking, and any of the other new folks. Hunter, Leanne, everybody. Have yourself a wonderful Friday night, or whatever night it is, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, stay out of trouble, and keep it shiny.